Chapter 554. Master. The Wang family patriarch is Wang Luo, a world king master. Longao indifferently nodded. Even though the Wang family patriarch was here, his expression was still indifferent. The more Longao acted like this, the more mysterious he seemed. Even Wang Luo was surprised. Was this person fearless? Longhong, will your Long family interfere in this matter? Wang Luo didn't fear this person. No matter what, this person came from the 9 provinces and was beyond his reach. Moreover, the outer sea island was the Wang family's territory. Before Longhong could speak, Longao had already said, the Long family will not interfere in this matter. Longao was well aware of the Long family's situation. If this were 3 years ago, with Longheng's status in the Long family would likely resist the Wang family. But now, Longhong had been reduced from a genius to trash. The Long family would absolutely not do anything. Longhong gratefully glanced at his master and then said, whether or not the Long family interferes, I will stand by master's side. We will live and die together. If Longhong were to say such words in normal times, he would definitely provoke ridicule. But now, no one dared to laugh at him. How about you? 6 hours from now, in the square arena, we will have a life or death battle. All right. Watching the 2 Wang family patriarchs leave, before Longao could ask, Longhong said, Master, the Wanghao that Wang Luo spoke of is the true #1 genius of the Wang family. He is only 34 years old and has already broken through to the peak Great Venerable realm. It is said that this person will reach the World King realm within a year. If so, then Longao knew that the Wang family's Wanghao's talent was truly amazing. A peak Great Venerable at 34 years of age. Not to mention the Wang family, but even in the entire Sky Province, this was a top-level existence. Longheng's face was filled with worry. In his eyes, a peak Great Venerable was an unreachable existence. No matter how fierce his master was, he still wouldn't be a world king martial artist. With a deep sigh, Longhong said guiltily, Master, I've implicated you this time. Otherwise, you wouldn't have provoked Wang Yifei and the Wang family. You wouldn't have fought with Wang Hao to the death. Master, I'm sorry. Looking at Longhong, who had a face full of guilt, Longao felt extremely pained. He said, you don't have to worry about the duel between Wang Hao and I, tell me. What is the origin of the Green Destiny Sword? At the mention of the Green Destiny Sword, Longhong seemed a little surprised. He said, Master, I never thought that the Wang clan would bring out the Green Destiny Sword in this battle of life and death. Longhong took a deep breath and said, Master, legend has it that the old ancestor of the Wang clan obtained a divine sword by accident. With this sword, he was invincible in the outer sea. However, he was killed by a supreme Dao martial artist in the end. Since then, the Green Destiny Sword has become the Wang clan's heirloom. Longhong, do you want the Green Destiny Sword? Longhong nodded and answered honestly, yes. Longhong was not a fool. Of course, he knew what his master meant by asking this. If he said that he did not want the Green Destiny Sword, even he would not believe it. After all, the legend of the Green Destiny Sword was there. Master, you are injured. I have medicinal pills with me. They can temporarily suppress the injury. Longhong was very worried. However, since his master had already made his decision, he could not say anything. However, Longhong had already decided that regardless of whether his master won or lost, he would stand by his master's side without hesitation. They would live and die together. The moment the Wang clan left the restaurant, they immediately spread the news throughout the Cloud Island. The news that Longheng's master was going to fight the #1 genius of the Wang clan, Wang Hao, to the death in an arena spread instantly. Everyone who heard the news was shocked. No one believed that someone would be so blind as to challenge the #1 genius of the Wang clan. However, the #1 genius of the Wang clan, Wang Hao, was not only talented, but also very strong. He was known as the #1 genius of the younger generation of the Cloud Island. His cultivation had even reached peak Great Venerate. Everyone who heard the news started guessing who Longheng's master was. However, when they thought about how Longhong was a piece of trash, their master would definitely not be any better. Everyone seemed to lose a lot of interest in this battle. However, countless people wanted to see Wang Hao's battle, so they all rushed to the square. As for the Long clan, when the Long clan's patriarch, Long Bai, heard the news, his face instantly darkened. He went to find Long Ling and Long Fan and asked directly, "Have you seen Long Heng's master?" Long Bai loved his son as much as he loved him. 3 years ago, Long Hong had brought him glory. However, in the past 3 years, his son had made him lose face. Even so, Long Bai had never given up. However, in the end, he had always failed. A year ago, Long Bai had deliberately distanced himself from his son. It was not that he was willing to give up, but that he really could not face his son. "Uncle, this is what happened." Long Ling immediately told him everything that had happened. However, not only did Long Ling exaggerate, but he also inverted right and wrong. He described Long Ao as an unforgivable evil. After hearing this, Long Bai's face darkened even more. He immediately went to find Long Qian and asked, "Qian, where did this Long Ao come from?" Long Qian had never seen her father like this before. She was shocked and did not dare to hide anything. She told her father everything that had happened at sea. The 6th grade Long clan. It seems that this person's strength is not higher than an earthly venerable. If that is the case, why did he accept the Wang clan's challenge? Strange. Long Bai could not figure it out. After all, he knew the background of the 6th grade Long clan very well. Under normal circumstances, the 6th grade Long clan did not have an earthly venerable. They did not even have a venerable or a prime. If I'm not mistaken, this person should not be from the 6th grade Long clan. Who is he? Long Heng's master, Long Ao, had accepted Wang Hao's challenge. In just an hour, the square was filled with people waiting anxiously. In fact, everyone was waiting for Wang Hao. As for Long Ao, no one knew him. "Hao, kill this person for me." "Yes, father." Wang Hao was dressed in blue. His resolute face was full of vicissitudes. Everyone knew that Wang Hao was the #1 genius of the Wang clan. Not only was he extremely talented, he was also extraordinarily hardworking. He had gone out to train all year round. Because of this, everyone admired Wang Hao. They wanted to see how much this #1 person of Cloud Island had grown. Wang Hao's arrival at the square immediately caused a commotion. Countless girls shouted and praised their idol. Some girls even confessed on the spot. If they were not held back by their families, who knew what would have happened? A woman's charm was not scary. What was scary was a man's charm. Just as everyone was shouting for Wang Hao, a figure walked over from afar. Others might not know Long Ao, but they knew the #1 trash of Cloud Island, Long Hong. Chapter 555. He had long, fiery red hair and was dressed in black. Long Ao stood out like a sore thumb. "Look, isn't that Long Heng's master, Long Ao? Damn, he's so young. I don't think he's even 20 years old." "Really? He's not even 20 years old, but he wants to challenge Wang Hao? Is he out of his mind? Maybe he's really strong. Get lost. He's just a kid who's still wet behind the ears. How can he be so strong? If I'm not wrong, he won't even be able to withstand 3 moves from Wang Hao. In my opinion, he won't even be able to withstand 1 move." Long Hong wanted to punch each and every one of them when he heard the mockery and ridicule coming from all around. But Long Ao stopped him. "Calm down, Long Hong. I'll use the destruction seal later. Watch carefully." Long Hong was delighted. He was naturally looking forward to his master using the destruction seal. A short while later, Long Ao arrived at the center of the square and stepped onto the arena. "Who the hell are you? How dare you challenge young Master Wang Hao? That's right. Your disciple is trash, and your master is even more trash. Get down here and stop embarrassing yourself." Long Bai, who was watching the battle from afar, seemed to be used to this. Long Qian was about to charge up and seek justice for her brother. "Qian, what are you doing?" "Father, didn't you hear? They're all mocking my brother." "That's your brother's business. It has nothing to do with you. Stand there properly." Long Bai looked at the young man on the arena. For some reason, he seemed to be waiting for a surprise. This was his intuition. His intuition told him that the young man on the arena was not simple at all. "You're Long Heng's master, Long Ao?" "That's right. You're the #1 genius of the Wang family, the #1 genius of the Cloud Island. Wang Hao? That's right. The two of them stopped talking and stared at each other. Longao had deliberately suppressed his cultivation to the peak of the Great Venerate realm so that he could conceal the destruction seal for Long Hong to comprehend. Everyone around the arena fell silent when they saw that the two of them had stopped talking. Although no one was optimistic about Longao, the battle was about to begin. Everyone still understood the basic respect. You're very powerful. If I'm not mistaken, you should also be a great venerable. You're not a simple person either. No one could hear the conversation between the two. But at this time, Wang Hao suddenly said, "If I can't defeat you within 20 moves, it'll be my loss." 20 moves? Hearing that Wang Hao needed 20 moves to defeat his opponent, everyone was shocked. Those with quick reactions had already guessed that Wang Hao's opponent should be quite strong. Otherwise, Wang Hao wouldn't need to do this. "If I can't defeat you within 10 moves, it'll be my loss." F***CK motherfucker. How arrogant. Young Master Wang Hao, kill him. Just as Long Ao finished speaking, a wave of curses came from all around. Wang Hao said that he could defeat you in 20 moves because young Master Wang Hao had the ability to do so. F***CK, what ability do you have? 10 moves? No one knew just what gave Long Ao such confidence. But it had to be known that Wang Hao was a true peak great venerable. Unless one was a world king, no one dared to say that they could defeat young Master Wang Hao within 10 moves. This was simply nonsense. Below the arena stage, Long Hong clenched his fists as he looked at his master standing on the arena stage. He simply ignored the taunts and taunts coming from all around. At this time, Long Hong was nervous to the extreme. He simply didn't know what was going on with his master. Even a great venerable martial artist would be wounded, and those wounds were extremely heavy. If this was the case, then his master had already suffered a loss. "Master, what is going on?" On the arena stage, Wang Hao didn't show the least bit of disdain or ridicule as he heard Wang Hao's shameless boasting. Instead, his expression became even more dignified. This was because after all these years of adventuring outside, he could instinctively sense that this person was an extremely dangerous character. The more confident Wang Hao appeared, the more vigilant he was. "Please." Long Ao had a very good impression of this Wang Hao in front of him. Whether they were friend or foe, just the word "please" was enough to prove just what sort of person Wang Hao was. Long Ao also said the word "please." At this time, Long Ao and Wang Hao moved at the same time. In the blink of an eye, they were already engaged in a fierce battle. A single move turned into 100 moves. In other words, although it seemed as if the two of them had exchanged 100 moves, the truth was that they had only exchanged a single move. Victory and defeat were evenly matched. Enduring the waves of pain coming from his body, Long Ao clearly knew that he had to end this battle quickly. Otherwise, he would be in great trouble. First, his injuries were too severe. He couldn't fight for too long, otherwise his body would automatically explode. Long Fu had already warned him about this. Second, he was forcefully suppressing his cultivation. If his injuries were too severe and he suffered a backlash, he would be in great danger. It was because of this that Long Ao knew he had to end this battle as quickly as possible. "Long Hong, watch carefully. Long Hong, watch carefully." Hearing the young man's sudden shout, everyone looked at Long Hong curiously. They didn't know what the young man wanted Long Hong to see. Could it be that he wanted to see how Long Hong would defeat Wang Hao in 10 moves? Until now, no one believed that Long Ao could defeat Wang Hao in 10 moves. They thought that this young man was out of his mind. Destruction seal. Long Ao didn't intend to use the seal after the destruction seal. After all, with his current strength, he could only cultivate the first 4 seals. The first 4 seals of the destruction seal were the soul suppressing seal, inferno seal, sky burying seal, and doomsday seal. Long Ao couldn't figure out why the 5th seal didn't have a name when the first 4 seals had names. He had asked Long Fu this question before, but Long Fu's answer was simple, "I don't know." This made Long Ao frustrated for a long time. The terrifying power of the seals was instantly unleashed. One seal after another, the 4 seals were unleashed simultaneously. "Long Ao, I have to admit that you are very powerful. However, I will show you what the supreme sword principle is. At this moment, a sword suddenly appeared in Wang Hao's hand. It was a divine sword that was emitting a beautiful light. Divine sword green destiny? As expected, just as Longao had guessed, the divine sword in Wang Hao's hand was the Wang family's treasure, the divine sword green destiny. Countless people exclaimed when the green Hades appeared. After all, the Wang family's divine sword green destiny was too famous. Longao was doomed. The trash's master was doomed. When Wang Hao took out the divine sword Longming, everyone had already sentenced Longao to death. And at this time, Wang Hao's eyes focused. Suddenly, a ray of light like the sun that illuminated the earth burst out from his body and directly integrated into the divine sword Qingming. Supreme Sword Principle, a martial skill that Wang Hao had comprehended after countless life and death experiences. Chapter 556. Longao could clearly feel just how terrifying his opponent's move was. Self-created martial skill, Supreme Sword Dao. Longao was well aware that only a self-created martial skill would be the most suitable for him. At the same time, self-created martial skills were also the most powerful. He didn't dare to be careless. He originally wanted to demonstrate the Annihilation Seal to Long Hong, but Longao never imagined that he would see such a heaven-gifted genius on Cloud Island. Self-created martial skill, Heaven and Earthborn. Self-created martial skill against self-created martial skill. Everyone was left dumbfounded. With himself as the center, Longao began to spin, instantly forming a giant tornado that seemed capable of sweeping through the world. And at this time, Wang Hao had already raised Blue Destiny Divine Sword high up in the air. This seemingly casual sword strike was actually a super martial skill that Wang Hao had spent 10 years to create. Blue Hades shot out a heaven-shaking sword light, ready to erupt at any moment. As for the tornado formed by Longao's spinning, it was ready to erupt at any moment. Move. At the same time, the two of them moved. Supreme Sword Dao, Heaven and Earthborn. The two self-created martial skills fiercely collided. With a stuffy cough, Longao's body swayed, as if he would fall at any moment. But he forcefully withstood it. The tornado vanished. Longao stood where he was, safe and sound. As for Wang Hao, he also forcefully withstood it. You won. I didn't win and you didn't lose. We are tied. Longao wouldn't take advantage of his opponent. This was because he was well aware that if it weren't for the tornado covering him, he would have already lost. He couldn't help but admit that the supreme sword Dao that Wang Hao comprehended was far too formidable. If it were an ordinary great venerable martial artist, or even an early world king, if they weren't careful then they might have been cut down by this sword. Supreme Sword Dao was comparable to Heaven and Earthborn. Both sides were tied. Everyone was dissatisfied with this result. This was because Wang Hao was the #1 master of Cloud Island. But now, he was tied with an outsider and also the master of trash. Who could accept this result? Since you and I are tied, then the grudges between you and the Wang family can be written off. You are very good. I believe that you didn't use your full strength just now. I look forward to the time when we can truly fight. Same to you. I also look forward to it. Longao didn't speak any more nonsense. He turned and quickly left with Long Hong. Wang Hao, who was standing on top of the thunderbolt, seemed very curious. He muttered to himself, could he be one too? Looking at Longao and his son who had already left, Long Bai smiled meaningfully. This made Long Qian very curious. She asked, Father, what are you smiling about? It's fine. If nothing unexpected happens, your big brother will rise up very soon. Hearing her father's words, Long Qian was curious. She didn't know what was going on with her father. Was her big brother starting to get lucky? Longao didn't choose to return to the Long family. With his fastest speed, he brought Long Hung away from everyone and found a shabby inn to stay for the time being. Before Long Hung could ask, Longao said, I will look for you later. Remember, don't run around for the next 2 days. My injuries have worsened, and I need to recover as soon as possible. Master, do you need my help? No need. Without speaking any more nonsense, Longao immediately entered his room and sat down on the floor. As he said, Longao's injuries had worsened. This was because from start to finish, he never imagined that he would encounter such a heaven-gifted genius at this time. Moreover, this genius had created his own supreme sword Dao. Longao knew very well that if he was at his peak, he wouldn't be afraid of Wang Hao at all. Even if he created his own martial technique, he believed that his supreme sword Dao wouldn't be a match for heaven and earth's sorrow. However, the problem now was that his injuries were very serious. Moreover, he had forcefully suppressed his realm at the beginning. As a result, heaven and earth's sorrow wasn't even 1/3 of its usual power. It was obvious that heaven and earth's sorrow wouldn't be able to withstand the supreme sword Dao. Moreover, Longao hadn't merged with the aura of heaven and earth. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in such a state. Not daring to hesitate, Longao immediately began to recuperate. He circulated the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique and used the power of yin and yang to form a cycle in his body. Ever since the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique broke through to the 2nd revolution, Longao discovered a magical effect. No matter how serious his injuries were, as long as he circulated the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique, he could recover in the shortest time possible. This time, his injuries were more serious. Longao roughly calculated that even with the help of the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique, he would need at least 10 days or even longer to recover. Inside the Dragon Seal space. Long Fu, what did you just say? Wang Hao is a rebirth realm martial artist. Nodding, Long Fu said, Master, I've already sensed it. This Wang Hao is indeed a rebirth realm martial artist. Moreover, he has already awakened his consciousness. Therefore, his cultivation speed is 10 times faster than ordinary geniuses. Even the supreme sword Dao he uses is integrated with the martial techniques of his previous life. 10 times faster? Longao was shocked. However, after thinking about it, he felt that it was acceptable. After all, a rebirth realm martial artist had to risk being obliterated by the reincarnation path to forcefully preserve a trace of consciousness. It could be said to be extremely dangerous. The slightest bit of carelessness would cause one's body and soul to be destroyed. Long Fu, I want to ask, what realm martial artist can reincarnate after death? As long as you are a warrior, you can enter the reincarnation cycle, but you will be destroyed by the reincarnation path. Only when you have broken through the Supreme Dao and become a Supreme Dao can you enter the reincarnation path and leave behind a trace of your consciousness. Even so, not every Supreme Dao warrior can do it, not even 1 in 10,000. Nodding, Longao now finally knew why Wang Hao was so powerful. Master, if possible, you'd better not provoke this person because you don't know when this person will fully awaken. If that's the case, Master, you'll be in big trouble. I know what I'm doing. Hearing that Wang Hao is actually a rebirth realm martial artist, Longao instantly became serious. Just as Long Fu said, to preserve one's consciousness, one had to be a supreme Dao martial artist. In other words, Wang Hao's original body in his previous life was a supreme Dao martial artist. Once he awakened, he would become a supreme Dao martial artist. At that time, not to mention himself, even 1,000 of himself would not be a match for him. Long Fu, there's one thing I don't understand. If a supreme Dao martial artist reincarnates, once he awakens, will his strength be able to reach the level of his original body in his previous life? Master, I know what you mean. Without exception, once a supreme Dao martial artist reincarnates successfully and becomes a rebirth realm martial artist, his cultivation will surpass his original body in his previous life. The more times he reincarnates, the stronger his strength will be. Some supreme Dao martial artists, in order to break through to a higher realm, will risk their lives to enter the reincarnation path and become a rebirth realm martial artist. P.S. Tonight we'll continue to update, chapter by chapter. If you're willing to wait, you can wait. Chapter 557. Nodding his head, Longao was not surprised at all. 5 realms of Supreme Dao. Longao knew that some Supreme Dao warriors would try all kinds of ways to break through to a higher realm if they could not do so for a long time. As for the divine soul entering the path of reincarnation, Unless the supreme Tao warrior had no other way, no one would do such a thing. Master, there is one thing that I don't know if I should tell you. Say it. Hearing this, Longao did not know why, but his heart skipped a beat, as if Long Fu was hiding something from him. Ever since he met Long Fu, Longao knew that Long Fu had never been like this. It seemed that this matter was not simple. What was it? Thinking back and forth, Longao also did not come up with a reason. Master, your ancestor, Long Batian, is actually a reincarnation realm warrior. Long Fu, are you joking with me? Seeing Long Fu nodding his head, Longao was shocked to the extreme because he had always thought that the ancestor was a divine soul. According to Long Fu, the ancestor had already awakened his divine soul and achieved the supreme Tao. Longao knew that if the ancestor was really a reincarnation realm warrior, then his current strength would be more terrifying than his previous life. Master, I believe you have already guessed it. Yes, your ancestor has indeed awakened his divine soul, but it has not been completely awakened. Therefore, Long Batian's current strength is only equivalent to a junior divine realm warrior. Junior divine realm warrior. According to the ancestor's talent, it would be a piece of cake for him to completely awaken his divine soul. Until now, Longao still could not believe it. No matter what, the ancestor's successful reincarnation and successful awakening of his divine soul was always a blessing for the family. The reason was simple. Once the Dragon Sect and Long family had peak heavenly god realm martial artists, not to mention the four major forces, even the Long family, One Shou sect, and Heaven and Earth sect would have to think twice before attacking the Dragon Sect and Long family. He did not continue to dwell on the ancestor's matter, because whether the ancestor was a samsara warrior or had awakened or not, it was a good thing for him and his family. There was no harm in doing so. After leaving the Dragon Seal space, Longao immersed himself in recovery. For 3 whole days, Longao did not leave his room. At this moment, the Cloud Island was in an uproar. Everyone knew that the master of the trash of the Longao clan had fought to a draw with Wang Hao. Furthermore, Longao looked less than 20 years old. What kind of concept was that? Everyone was very curious about Longao's background. When they heard that he was from the 9 prefectures, they became even more curious. It turned out that the 9 prefectures were too far away from the outer sea. Powerful warriors might be able to do so, but ordinary warriors would not be able to do so. Therefore, some people would never be able to leave the island and the outer sea to explore the 9 prefectures for the rest of their lives. It was precisely because of this that countless people in the outer islands were very curious about the 9 provinces. They wanted to know more about the 9 provinces from Longao. However, after that battle, Longao seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. No one had seen Longao in person ever since. Longao had disappeared, but the Long family had suffered. Whether it was the Yi family or the Wang family, everyone else had rushed into the Long family, wanting to see this Longao. However, the Long family had closed their doors and refused to see anyone. No matter who it was, they were not allowed to take a single step into the Long family. No matter what, the Long family was still one of the 3 great families of the Cloud Island. Forget about ordinary people. Even the Yi family and the Wang family did not dare to casually step into the Long family. Long family, main hall. Long Bai sat at the head of the table with an indifferent expression on his face. He listened to Long Ling and Long Fan's nagging, but no one knew whether he had heard them or not. Eldest uncle, Long Ao does not care about the Long family at all. I suggest that we immediately kill Long Ao. Long Bai waved his hand. He finally could not bear to listen any longer. He said helplessly, I already understand what you mean, but I can tell you that the Long family cannot agree to your request. Why is that, eldest uncle? Both Long Ling and Long Fan's faces instantly turned ugly when they heard that their uncle had rejected them. After all, the powerful strength that Long Ao had displayed had deeply shocked both of them. The 2 of them were not idiots. They knew very well that if Long Hong had such a powerful master by his side, even if they did not go looking for trouble, what would they do if Long Hong came looking for trouble with them? As long as they borrowed the Long family's strength to kill Long Ao, then Long Hong would still be useless in the future. They could still trample on Long Hong whenever they wanted. Do I need to explain the Long family's decision to the 2 of you? The two of them shuddered when they heard their eldest uncle's cold voice. It was only at this moment that the two of them finally realized that their eldest uncle was not only their eldest uncle, he was also the family head. Leave. Long Ling and Long Fan did not waste any more words and slowly retreated. Long Bai was the only one left in the main hall. At this time, Long Bai's expression was unreadable as he muttered to himself, "Long Ao, I really did not expect that you would end up here." At this moment, Long Bai finally knew who Long Ao was. Ever since Long Ao had appeared, Long Bai had contacted the 9 states and obtained all the information he could about Long Ao in the shortest amount of time possible. It was also because of this that Long Bai was very shocked. He had never imagined that the master of the dragon sect, Long Ao, the youth who had defied the 4 great forces, would suddenly appear on Cloud Island in the outer sea. More importantly, Long Ao's relationship with his son was very good. His son had even taken Long Ao as his master. "Long Ao, I hope that you won't disappoint me." In the main hall of the Wang family, one of the 3 great families of Cloud Island, Wang Luo's complexion was simply gloomy to the extreme. It was as unsightly as it could be because he never would have thought that Long Ao would be able to fight against Wang Hao. Moreover, it was a draw. "Old ancestor, should we continue to deal with Long Ao?" "Old ancestor?" If outsiders heard that the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Luo, was calling Wang Hao old ancestor, who knew what they would think? Just as Long Ao had guessed, Wang Hao was the reincarnation of a supreme Dao martial artist and was also the only supreme Dao martial artist in the Wang family. Back then, for some reason, he had no choice but to choose to enter the path of reincarnation with his divine soul. Fortunately, Wang Hao successfully awakened his divine soul. However, Wang Hao had yet to truly awaken his spirit. Otherwise, he would be a divine practitioner right now. Since Long Ao's matter has been clarified, there is no need for us to provoke him. As long as he doesn't provoke us. "Old ancestor, I'm just afraid that Long Ao's sudden appearance on Cloud Island in the outer sea has other motives. I will keep an eye on this matter. As I said before, as long as Long Ao doesn't provoke us, we won't provoke him. Do you understand?" No matter how unwilling he was in his heart, Wang Luo had no choice since the old ancestor had spoken. Chapter 558. After resting for 3 days, Long Ao managed to suppress his injuries. He still had to rely on the 9 revolving reincarnation technique. "Master, are you all right?" In the inn, Long Hung asked impatiently when he saw his master appear. Long Ao waved his hand and smiled. "My injuries are fine now." At this moment, Long Ao noticed that Long Heng's expression was not right. He asked curiously, "Long Hung, what happened?" "Master, 3 days ago, the battle between you and Wang Hao caused an uproar in the entire Cloud Island. Everyone is talking about you." Regarding this point, Long Ao had long guessed it. However, Long Ao knew that things were not that simple. Otherwise, Long Hung would not have reacted this way. "Master, the Sacred Mountain already knows about you." "What's the Sacred Mountain?" This was the first time Long Ao had heard of the Sacred Mountain since he entered the Cloud Island. However, his instincts told him that the Sacred Mountain was not simple. Could it be that the Sacred Mountain was above the 3 big families? Just as expected. "Master, I believe you have already guessed it." "That's right. The Sacred Mountain is the true overlord of the Cloud Island. They are above the 3 big families. Legend has it that there are many illusionary divine martial artists in the Sacred Mountain. Hence, it is called the Sacred Mountain." "I see. Even so, what does this have to do with me?" Long Hung was even more worried when he saw that his master did not care about the Sacred Mountain at all. He said, "Master, we should keep a low profile during this period of time. The news that you are from the 9 regions has spread throughout the Cloud Island. The Sacred Mountain has rejected you." "Nonsense." Long Ao was very unhappy and said, "You're really meddling in other people's business. Whether I'm from the 9 states or not, it's none of the Sacred Mountain's business. Moreover, who said that the Cloud Island belongs to the Sacred Mountain?" Long Hung was shocked when he heard his master's arrogant words. He immediately said softly, "Master, the walls have ears. Be careful not to be heard. If the Sacred Mountain finds out, we will be in big trouble." Longao was speechless when he saw how careful Long Hung was. Long Hung did not mock Longao. In Long Heng's opinion, although his master was very strong and could even fight Wang Hao to a draw, he was still too young. As the saying goes, everyone has been young and frivolous before. Moreover, Long Hung had always believed that his master had just arrived at the Cloud Island and didn't know about the situation there. If his master knew about the terrifying power of the Saint Mountain, he believed that he wouldn't be like this. With just a glance at Long Hung, Longao already knew what Long Hung was thinking. Tell me more about the sacred mountain. Longao didn't say it out loud because he knew that no matter how low-key he was, if the sacred mountain wanted to find trouble, they would find trouble everywhere. It didn't matter if you were low-key or not. In that case, why should he fear the sacred mountain? Master, there are 3 big clans on Cloud Island, but above the 3 big clans is Saint Mountain. It is said that there is a heavenly saint in Saint Mountain. As for whether it is true or not, no one knows. The 8 realms of the illusionary divine were divided into the half-sage realm, earth sage realm, heavenly sage realm, king sage realm, holy king realm, holy venerate realm, and holy emperor realm. A heavenly saint was already considered a very strong existence. If what Long Hung said was true, and there was a heavenly saint in Saint Mountain, then things would be troublesome. Longao knew very well that even if there was a sage or earth sage in Saint Mountain, he wouldn't be a match for them, let alone a heavenly saint. It was also because of this that Longao re-evaluated the strength of the numerous islands in the outer seas. A small island like Cloud Island was already so powerful. If all the islands in the outer seas were to be added together, it would be terrifying. Now that he thought about it, the land of the 9 regions couldn't be compared to the outer seas. Long Hung, you're trying to tell me that the sacred mountain has already noticed me, right? Yes, master. You may not know, but Saint Mountain has been suppressing the 3 big clans for so many years, especially the Wang family. Now that you are from the land of the 9 regions, Saint Mountain will naturally go against you. Suppressing the Wang family? With regards to this, Longao couldn't understand. Since Saint Mountain was filled with experts, why didn't they know that Wang Hao was a rebirth realm martial artist? Even if Wang Hao hid his identity well and the sacred mountain did not know that he was a reincarnation realm warrior, Wang Hao was very high profile and talented. Would the sacred mountain not care about such a danger? This didn't seem to make sense. Longao didn't tell Long Hung about his doubts. Longao knew that Long Hung definitely didn't know what he didn't know. Even though Long Hung was from the Cloud Island, he knew that Long Hung definitely didn't know. If we don't provoke Saint Mountain better not provoke me. Long Hung didn't know what his master meant. Instead, he asked Master, what do we do next? Refine pills. Refine pills? That's right, Long Hung. I won't stay on Cloud Island for long because I still have many things to do in the land of the 9 regions. Therefore, I'm going to impart to you what I know about alchemy as soon as possible. As for how far you can go, it depends on you. However, with your comprehension and talent, you can at least become an emperor-level alchemist. An emperor-level alchemist was a realm that countless alchemists dreamed of breaking through. However, at this moment, Long Hung didn't feel happy at all. Master, when are you going to leave? I don't know, but at the very least, I'll have to wait until my injuries are completely healed. During this time, you should focus on refining pills. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask. Master, will you take me with you when the time comes? I don't know. Longao really didn't know. After all, this was the outer sea, and it was very far away from the land of the 9 regions. Even if he didn't bring Long Hung with him, he didn't have full confidence that he could return to the land of the 9 regions smoothly. Long Hung, even if you can't leave with me this time, you have to cultivate well, especially in alchemy. I need you very much. I will definitely come back in the future. Although he was reluctant to leave his master, Long Hung knew that his master had his own difficulties. Therefore, he didn't continue to dwell on it. Instead, he asked, Master, do we continue to stay here or return to the family? Return to the Long family. In alchemy, peace was the most important thing. There were all kinds of people coming and going. If they were unlucky and met an expert, things would be troublesome. Long Hung nodded and didn't have any objections. The two immediately got up and walked back to the family. However, they were very careful. No matter what, Longao was now a celebrity on Cloud Island. They believed that many people would pay attention to him. As for Long Hong, he was a celebrity himself. Chapter 559. Longao and Long Hong immediately began refining pills the moment they stepped into the Long family. Longao was very curious about the Long family. He didn't know what kind of tricks they were playing. Under normal circumstances, the Long family should already know that he and Wang Hao had fought to a draw. If that was the case, why did the Long family act as if nothing had happened when he and Long Hong entered? It was also because of this that Longao had a new understanding of the Long family. Long Hong was very infatuated with alchemy. Especially with Longao's help, he was even more obsessed. The next day, dusk. Longao, master of the dragon sect in the Sky Province. In just a little over a year, you've risen to power and successfully counterattacked the four great forces, inflicting heavy losses on them. I'm very curious, why did Master Long come to the Cloud Island of the Outer Sea? Great Hall of the Dragon Sect. Longao hadn't said a word from beginning to end. This was because he realized that the Long family head in front of him wasn't simple at all. Before he knew it, the Long family head had already found out everything about him. If they were in the 9 states or the Outer Sea, he wouldn't be surprised at all if Longbai asked about him. However, the problem now was that the 9 states and the Outer Sea were very far apart. It wasn't easy to get news in a short period of time. Longao had a good impression of Longbai, but it wasn't because Longbai was Longheng's father. Master Long, I can understand why you don't want to answer. However, I really want to know if you came to the Cloud Island for any reason. Long family head, you and I both belong to the Long family, and I am also Longheng's master. Therefore, we can speak frankly. I came to the Cloud Island by chance. If Long Hong hadn't saved me, I believe that I wouldn't even know about the Cloud Island. Long Hong was naturally aware of this point. Master Long, the Sacred Mountain has been paying attention to your fight with Wang Hao. I believe that you also know about the Sacred Mountain's matters. Longbai didn't continue to dwell on Longao's identity or anything else. He knew very well what he should and shouldn't ask. Sacred Mountain. Patriarch Long, Saint Mountain has nothing to do with me. I am just a passerby to Cloud Island. If it wasn't for Long Hong, I might have already left. Therefore, I don't want to get involved in Saint Mountain. Before Longbai could say anything, Longao continued, Patriarch Long, for Longheng's sake, I would like to remind you to be careful of the Wang family, especially Wang Hao. Longbai's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. If someone else had said this to him, he would have scoffed. However, the person who had said this to him was Longao. Master Dragon, can you be more specific? Shaking his head, Longao did not intend to tell anyone that Wang Hao was a rebirth realm warrior. He was just a passerby to the Cloud Island. Once he had imparted all his knowledge of alchemy to Long Hong, he would leave the Cloud Island and the Outer Sea to return to the 9 continents. Perhaps he would return to the Outer Sea in the future to explore the so-called Outer Sea, but not now. No matter what, he had to return to the 9 continents. He still did not know what had happened to the 9 continents since the beast tide had invaded. Patriarch Long, in everyone's eyes, Long Hong is just a piece of trash. Am I right? Master Long, Longao waved his hand. There was no need for Longbai to say anything. He already knew what Longbai was thinking. When he looked at Longbai, Longao already knew that the patriarch of the Long family doted on Long Hong a lot. Otherwise, he would not have shown so much concern for Long Hong. Longao was well aware of what Longbai was thinking. Unfortunately, Longbai's thoughts were pitiful. The reason why Longheng's cultivation has stagnated is not because of his talent. I know that. Master Long, have you found the reason? Longbai was overjoyed. Longbai was no fool. He knew that Longao must have found something. Could his son really be able to turn the tables? If that was true, he would be willing to give up 10 years of his life. It was still the same saying, the pity of all parents. Longao nodded. He did not want to tell the Long family anything about Long Hong, but the moment he saw Longbai, he changed his mind and said, Patriarch Long, Long Hong is 1 in a million, and one of the rarest lightning constitutions in the world. When he was struck by lightning, he instantly awakened it. Not only is Long Hung not a piece of trash, he is also a cultivation genius. As expected, Long Bai let out a long sigh of relief and said, "For the past 3 years, I have never dared to face him. Fortunately, met you. Otherwise," Long Ao did not blame Long Bai because he already knew the ins and outs of the matter. Long Heng's cultivation had stagnated, and Long Bai had tried everything he could but to no avail. In the end, Long Bai had chosen to give up on his son. Long Ao knew that although Long Bai seemed to have given up, it was actually because he could not face his son. In the end, Long Bai was not in the wrong. What was wrong was that fate made fools of people. Everything is in the past. If nothing unexpected happens, Long Heng's cultivation speed will greatly increase from now on. In less than a year, he will be able to break through to the illusionary divine stage. Long Bai's body trembled when he heard this. He knew what the illusionary divine stage meant. If his family could produce an illusionary divine stage cultivator, then even the holy mountain would have to be wary of his family, let alone the other two great families. However, Long Bai still did not believe this. Even his master had not broken through to the illusionary divine stage. Would he let his disciple break through to the illusionary divine stage first? Everyone knew that Long Ao was only a peak great venerable. He had not even reached the world king level, let alone the illusionary divine stage. Long Ao knew what Long Bai was thinking, but he did not try to explain himself. Sometimes, the truth trumped everything. There was no point in talking nonsense. "Master Long, you can stay in the Long family during this time. I believe that the Wang family will not dare to cause trouble for you." Long Ao did not stand on ceremony. He nodded, said a word of thanks, and left. Long Bai was the only one left in the hall. It was quiet. Suddenly, an old man walked out from behind him. Long Bai immediately said respectfully, "Uncle, why have you come out?" "He is Long Ao?" "That's right." Long Bai was very respectful towards his uncle. Besides being his biological uncle, he was also a powerful world emperor and the #1 expert in the family. It was because of his uncle that the Long family was able to become one of the 3 great families of the Cloud Island. "This child is extraordinary. No matter what, we must build a good relationship with him. We must not offend him." Long Bai was very surprised to hear his uncle's words. After all, he had never heard his uncle praise anyone like this before. Chapter 560. Ever since he returned to the Long family, Long Ao had been in seclusion and focused on concocting pills. Long Ao knew that there was only one way for Long Hung to awaken his lightning physique and increase his cultivation speed, and that was to rely on the stimulation of pills. This type of lightning pill was extremely difficult to concoct. Even with Long Ao's level of understanding and skills, he only managed to concoct one pill after spending an entire day and night. After Long Hong consumed the pill, he immediately went into seclusion to cultivate. 10 days later, Long Hong opened his eyes in surprise. His face was filled with excitement, and his entire body seemed to be trembling because of it. Long Hong could not wait any longer. He immediately went to find Long Ao and said excitedly, "Master, thank you. Thank you so much. After consuming the pill that you concocted, my cultivation has directly broken through from the honorable realm to the peak of the great honored realm." Long Hong had never imagined that his cultivation would improve so much this time, leaping to the peak of the great venerable realm. Didn't this mean that he was now at the same level as Wang Hao? Long Ao was not surprised at all and nodded his head indifferently. "Master, aren't you excited?" Long Hong felt as though someone had poured a bucket of cold water on him. He was still extremely excited just a moment ago, but now, he felt as though he had done the right thing and no one was praising him. Long Hong wanted to be praised by his master for his breakthrough in cultivation. After all, he had never heard of such a breakthrough from the honorable realm to the peak of the great honored realm. With your lightning physique and talent, as well as your 3 years of cultivation, it is within my expectations that you would be able to make a breakthrough now. If you can continue to cultivate for another year, it will not be difficult for you to break through to the illusionary divine realm. Illusionary divine realm? If his master had said this to him 10 days ago, Long Hong would definitely not have believed him. But now, There was a living example in front of him, and he had personally experienced it. Master, if this is the case, does it mean that I have no chance of breaking through to the illusionary divine realm? Longhung sighed deeply. However, it was already good enough for him to break through to the peak of the great honored realm. Longhung knew that if he had not met his master, he would never have been able to reach the great honored realm. With a smile, Longao suddenly said, "Although your cultivation speed is a little slow, I believe that your future cultivation speed will increase. If nothing goes wrong, you should be able to break through to the illusionary divine stage within a year." Master, is what you said true? Are you trying to trick me? Is it necessary? At this moment, Longhung would not doubt Longao. Whatever Longao said, he would believe it. As such, when Longhung heard that he would be able to break through to the illusionary divine stage within a year, he was extremely excited. His entire face was flushed with excitement. "Fourth young master, the patriarch has invited you and Senior Longao to the main hall." Longhung, who was in the midst of his excitement, suddenly heard his subordinate's voice. He was very curious as to why his father had called for him at this time. "Master, since your father has invited us, let's pay him a visit. In any case, we haven't left his side for the past few days." If it was an ordinary person, Longao might not have gone. However, no matter what, Longbai was still Longheng's father. As the saying went, even if it was not for the sake of the monk, it was for the sake of the Buddha. When the two of them arrived at the main hall, they saw that there were only 3 people in the main hall. The patriarch of the Long family, Longbai, was seated on the right-hand side. As for the main seat, there were 2 middle-aged men, one fat and one skinny, who gave off a very arrogant feeling. "Master, be careful. These 2 people should be from the Holy Mountain." Holy Mountain? Longao did not expect the Holy Mountain to personally send people here for him. They must have nothing better to do. The reason why Longao guessed this was because Longbai did not look for anyone but himself and Longhung. This in itself was enough to explain the situation. Seeing the 2 of them enter, Luo Fei and Sui did not even bother to look at them. Their arrogant looks made Longhung feel extremely annoyed. If not for his fear of the Holy Mountain, Longhung would have already attacked them. "You are Longao?" Ignoring the 2 of them, Longao directly sat on the right-hand side and looked at Longbai. He asked, "May I know why the patriarch of the Long family has asked me to come here today?" Ignoring the 2 envoys of the Holy Mountain scared Longbai so much that his heart skipped a beat. However, he still replied, "Master Long, these 2 are the envoys of the Holy Mountain. They have come here to discuss something with you." "You are Longao? Whether I am Longao or not, what does that have to do with you? If you were arrogant, then I was even more arrogant." Longao was such a person. If the 2 saints were fine, then perhaps he would be normal. However, the 2 of them were as arrogant as ever. Longao did not like them at all. If not for the fact that he was afraid that the Long family would be implicated, he would not have even spoken to them. "You are very arrogant, brat." The 2 of them were not angry at all, because the 2 of them did not put Longao in their eyes from the beginning to the end. The Holy Mountain was the true overlord of Cloud Island and was above the 3 great families. It was because of this that the Holy Mountain's words were absolute on Cloud Island, and no one dared to provoke them. Thus, the 2 of them were extremely arrogant. Let alone Longao, an outsider who had just entered Cloud Island, they did not even place the patriarch of the Long family in their eyes. It had to be known that the patriarch of the Long family, Longbai, who was also Longheng's father, was a true world king master. As for the 2 envoys of the Holy Mountain, they were only earth sovereigns. Even so, the 2 of them were still arrogant. This was the importance of having a backer. Whether I am arrogant or not is none of your business. If you have something to say, then say it. I don't have the time to accompany you 2 idiots. Longao did not give the 2 of them any face at all. Not to mention that they were envoys of the Holy Mountain. Even if they were ordinary people, they would not let such an insult go. "Longao, you are courting death. Saints, please do not be impatient. Master Long has just arrived at Cloud Island and does not know the rules of Cloud Island. Please forgive me." Longbai and Longhung were depressed to the extreme. The two of them could not figure out why Longao was so overbearing. No matter how they looked at it, the other party was still an envoy sent by the Holy Mountain. If he dared to disrespect two saints, it was clear that he did not place the Holy Mountain in his eyes. Longbai was well aware of Longao's background. But the problem was that this was Cloud Island in the outer seas, not the nine-province continent. If the Holy Mountain really wanted to deal with him, how could he fight back? However, Longao simply ignored the two of them and stared at the two so-called emissaries of the sacred mountain. He then said coldly, "I will say this for the last time. If you have something to say it quickly. If you have fart, say it quickly. I don't have time to talk nonsense with the two of you who have nothing better to do. The sacred mountain is really better than meeting in person." Longao's meaning was very clear. He was provoking them. The two envoys were not idiots. They naturally knew what he meant. Chapter 561. How could the two emissaries endure such humiliation? The two of them roared angrily and charged at Longao. However, the two of them left quickly and returned even faster. Spitting out mouthfuls of blood and swaying unsteadily, the two saints looked as if they had seen a ghost. Disbelief was written all over their faces. "You dare attack us?" The two of them had never imagined that the other party would suddenly attack them. One had to know that they represented the sacred mountain this time. The other party had insulted them verbally and then attacked them. This in itself was a provocation to the sacred mountain. Anyone who provoked the sacred mountain would die. The sacred mountain was the ruler of Cloud Island. Who dared to provoke them? Longao's sudden attack had scared Longbai and Long Hung out of their wits. However, Long Hung was more excited than anything else because he realized that his master seemed to be completely fearless. First, he didn't take the Wang family seriously. Now, he didn't take the sacred mountain seriously. You're just two dogs of the sacred mountain. What else can you do besides bark every day? Longao couldn't be bothered with the two of them. He got up and left, leaving the two emissaries with gloomy expressions. Emissaries? Longbai, shut your mouth. Your Long family actually dared to protect such a thing. We will report this to the sacred mountain later and tell them what happened just now. As for how the sacred mountain will deal with the Long family, we can't do anything about it. Shameless. One had to admit that the two of them were shameless to the extreme. Because Longao didn't take the sacred mountain seriously, once news of this spread, the sacred mountain would definitely decide to destroy Longao and the Long family along with him. Before Longbai could say anything, the two emissaries had already gotten up and left. They disappeared without a trace in a short while. It seemed that the two of them had suffered a great blow. However, after thinking about it, they understood. No matter what, the two of them were the representatives of the sacred mountain. No matter where they went, they were sought after. When had they ever suffered such humiliation? Father, Sai, Hung, your master is too reckless. Although he's doing well in the 9 states, he's a frog at the bottom of a well. The sacred mountain, especially a great sovereign, is not someone he can provoke. Suddenly, Longbai seemed to sense something. Shock filled his face as he asked anxiously, Hung, have you broken through to the supreme realm? Long Hung nodded. He didn't intend to hide this matter. Ha ha ha, good. For 3 whole years, Longbai had racked his brain for the sake of his most beloved son. But in the end, he was powerless to do anything about it. That was why Longbai was so excited when he heard that his son had finally broken through to the Supreme Being realm. Father. Hung, I know that I have neglected you for the past few years, but I didn't do it on purpose. I hope you can understand me. Now, I want to see who dares to look down on you in the future. The genius of the past has returned. Your master is really amazing. Father, I have something to tell you. Speak. At this moment, Longbai was clearly very happy. After all, his only son had suddenly become a supreme. This was 100 times happier than him breaking through to the World Emperor realm himself. Father, because of Master's help this time, not only was I able to break into the Supreme Realm, but I even reached the peak of the Great Exalted Realm. I'm just a single step away from becoming a world king. Longbai waved his hand and said with disbelief, Be good, don't joke around. I'm already very happy that you were able to break through to the supreme realm. It wasn't that Longbai didn't believe it, but that no one would believe such a thing. It had to be known that Long Hung hadn't broken through for 3 whole years. According to the talent of the super geniuses of Cloud Island, such a thing shouldn't have happened. 3 years. After 3 whole years, Longbai had already chosen to give up. Now that his son had broken through to the supreme realm, he was already satisfied. He didn't dare to hope that his son would be able to reach the peak of the great exalted realm in a single step. But at this time, Longbai seemed to think of something. He stared at his son in front of him and asked solemnly, let me ask you now, have you really broken through to the peak of the great exalted realm? There was no way Longbai would believe that Yun Che would be able to rely on his son alone, given the past 3 years. But now, the situation was different. His son had taken an expert as his master, and Longbai already knew about Longao's achievements. Moreover, since Longao could help his son break through to the supreme realm, then he would definitely be able to break through to the peak of the great exalted realm. Long Hung nodded and said excitedly, Father, Master said that I have a thunder physique. I've already taken a pill, and after several days of refining, my cultivation has advanced by leaps and bounds. After thinking for a moment, Long Hung continued, after 3 years of accumulation, I'll break through in a single day. Master said that if I can continue accumulating for another year, I'll be able to break through to the illusionary divine realm. After hearing his son's words, Longbai was shocked to the extreme. He didn't have the slightest doubt that the thunder physique was the real reason why his son hadn't been able to break through. Longbai knew that his son was lucky to have met Longao this time. Otherwise, his son would have been a cripple for the rest of his life. Father, Master is my benefactor. So no matter what happens, I hope that you can promise me one thing. Protect Master's safety. Longbai, who had been extremely excited, instantly turned serious when he heard his son's request. He said seriously, you must know that Longao didn't offend the Yi family or the Wang family this time. It's the Holy Mountain. With the strength of our Long family, we can't possibly be a match for the Holy Mountain. Longbai didn't finish his sentence, but the meaning behind his words was very clear. The 3 great families of the Cloud Island were on par with each other in terms of strength, but the Holy Mountain was different. The Holy Mountain was a supreme existence that surpassed the 3 great families. Even if the 3 great families joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for the Holy Mountain, let alone one-on-one. There was only one point. The strongest people in the 3 great families were world emperors, and the Holy Mountain had illusionary divine realm experts. Even without considering their strength, just the illusionary divine realm experts were not something that the 3 great families could contend against. How could Long Hung not know about his father's worries? However, he still said in a firm voice, Father, no matter what happens, I hope that the family will protect Master. Otherwise, I will choose to live and die with Master. Long Heng's sudden rise in power caused his status in the family to rise. After all, a disciple with such potential was rarely seen in 100 years, so the Long family wouldn't choose to give up on Long Hung no matter what. However, Long Hung had no intention of threatening the family. I can't make the decision on this matter. We must discuss this with your 3rd grandfather. Long Hung was overjoyed when he heard his 3rd grandfather. He hurriedly said, Father, let's go now. Longbai nodded. Actually, Longbai didn't want anything to happen to Longao, whether it was for public or private reasons. Chapter 562. Sacred Mountain, the overlord of the Cloud Island. Perhaps others were afraid of the Holy Mountain, but from start to finish, Longao did not place the Holy Mountain in his eyes at all. Longao's principle was simple. If others did not offend him, he would not offend them. If others offended him, he would pay them back double. After returning to his residence, Longao waited for 4 hours before Long Hung returned. Long Hung, I am leaving the Cloud Island tomorrow. Longao had thought about it carefully and felt that the best way was to leave by himself. Firstly, he did not know what had happened in the 9 states and how much damage the beast tide had caused to the 9 states. He was worried about the 9 states, Dragon Sect, and his family. Secondly, although he was not afraid of Sacred Mountain, he did not want to implicate the Long family. Longao knew that Sacred Mountain only wanted to deal with him. If he left, Sacred Mountain would not do anything to the Long family. If Longao wanted to leave, Long Hong would not be happy. Master, don't you believe in the Long family? What do you mean? Master, although the Long family is not as powerful as Sacred Mountain, we are not cowards. I have just met my grandfather, and he has promised that as long as Sacred Mountain comes, we will live and die together. Hearing this, Longao was slightly touched. No matter what, Sacred Mountain was the overlord of the Cloud Island. Their strength and foundation were far beyond the Long family. If they wanted to go against them, they would be courting death. Long Hong, listen to me. Master, listen to me first. Before Longao could speak, Long Hong said, Master, as the saying goes, a teacher for a day is a father for life. You are the one who gave me a new life. I, Long Hong, am eternally grateful. Longao did not say anything and sat quietly. Master, the grudge between you and Sacred Mountain is because of me. So no matter what happens, I will stand with you, even if it is Sacred Mountain. Longao was moved because he realized that Long Hong seemed to have changed. Longao was happy because a person would only improve if they changed. Otherwise, according to Long Heng's character, it would be difficult for him to reach the end of the martial path. Master, please stay. With a deep sigh, Longao had no choice but to nod and agree. After that, the two of them didn't continue to dwell on the matter of the Sacred Mountain. Apart from teaching alchemy, the two of them spent most of their time cultivating. Long Hong was also constantly practicing the destruction seal. He had to admit that Long Hong was indeed very talented. In just a few days, he had already mastered the first seal of the Seal of Destruction. Although its power was not very strong, it still made Longao feel satisfied and praised. Cloud Island, Wang family, inside a secret room. Boom! With a loud bang, the entire secret chamber collapsed. Wang Hao stood up and looked around coldly. However, his face was soon filled with pleasant surprise. He muttered to himself, I've already completed 1/3 of the reincarnation awakening. In less than 2 years, I'll be able to reach the peak of my strength. I might even be able to break through my limits and reach an even higher level of the Divine Tao. Wang Hao was very surprised, because according to the cultivation speed of his previous life and the bottlenecks of the Divine Tao that he encountered, it was almost impossible for him to continue breaking through and reach a higher level of the Divine Tao. In the end, Wang Hao had no choice but to enter the reincarnation awakening. If he failed, he would vanish. If he succeeded, he would be reborn. After the reincarnation awakening, Wang Hao had already awakened 1/3 of his divine spirit. His cultivation had also broken through to the sage-to-be realm. Once his divine spirit was fully awakened, he would be able to reach the divine Tao realm of his previous life. There was an even greater benefit of the reincarnation awakening. After the divine spirit was awakened, not only could he regain his peak strength, he could even break through the bottleneck and reach a higher level. This was also the real reason why many divine Tao warriors chose to enter the reincarnation path even though they knew that it was very dangerous. It could be said that there was only a slim chance of survival. In the sage-to-be realm, in addition to the supreme sword principle that he had created himself, he also had actual combat experience. Wang Hao was confident that within the Cloud Island, unless he encountered a powerful saint, he would be invincible. Congratulations to the old ancestor for successfully awakening. Wang Hao waved his hand and said with a smile, as long as I can awaken 2/3 of my divine spirit, no one will be my match within the Cloud Island. As for the outer sea, unless my divine spirit is fully awakened. There were countless islands in the outer sea, and there was no lack of divine Tao warriors. If Wang Hao could be invincible, he would not have had to take the risk to enter the reincarnation path. Old ancestor, 2 days ago, I just received a piece of news. Speak. It is said that the Saint Mountain sent 2 messengers to the Long family, wanting to summon Longao to the Saint Mountain. But before they could speak, they were directly humiliated and even injured by Longao. They left in disgrace. Hearing this, Wang Hao seemed to be a little surprised. He nodded and said, I know. With that, Wang Hao left the secret chamber and shot towards the Long family. If the Saint Mountain did not participate, a sage-to-be warrior was definitely the strongest existence on the Cloud Island. So from beginning to end, no one could find Wang Hao at all. In the Long family, Longao was guiding Long Heng's cultivation. Suddenly, his expression changed and he said, "Cultivate by yourself? I will be back soon." Long Ao's figure quickly disappeared. Long Heng didn't know what was going on. However, Long Heng was very clear about his identity. As a disciple, what should he ask and what shouldn't be asked, he clearly knew. Long Ao saw Wang Hao's figure, but before he could say anything, Wang Hao had already shot out quickly and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Why was Wang Hao looking for him? Although he did not know why Wang Hao was looking for him, Long Ao still chased after him. He wanted to see what Wang Hao was up to. Long Ao was very afraid of Wang Hao because he already knew that Wang Hao was a reincarnated warrior and had successfully awakened his divine soul. If he used his self-created martial technique, the power would be very strong. However, Long Ao had already sensed that Wang Hao did not have the slightest murderous intent. Because of this, Long Ao chased after him without any scruples. The two of them, one in front and one behind, left the Cloud City in a short while and shot towards the distant sea. Their speed was very fast, just like two ghosts under the curtain of the night. Beside the sea, Long Ao and Wang Hao stood face to face. Long Ao did not open his mouth, but waited for Wang Hao to speak first. "Long Ao, if I am not wrong, you should be a reincarnated warrior. I want to ask, have you awakened your divine soul?" Reincarnated warrior? When did he become a reincarnated warrior? Hearing Wang Hao's words, Long Ao was stunned at first, but he immediately understood what Wang Hao meant. In this case, Long Ao also said shamelessly, "Since you have already guessed it, I will not hide it from you. I am a reincarnated warrior." Chapter 563. Straightforward. To tell you the truth, I'm also a reincarnation realm warrior. I knew it. Long Ao really felt that it was a little funny. Everything was fine, but he just had to look for him to talk about this matter. It was really a pain in the ass. "Wang Hao, I wonder why you've come to me this time." "It's simple. I want to join forces with you to destroy Sacred Mountain and divide Cloud Island equally. What do you think? Just you and me?" Long Ao had already sensed Wang Hao's aura. It was the sage-to-be realm. In just a few days, Wang Hao had broken through from the great honored realm to the sage-to-be realm. He had to admit that the reincarnation of a supreme Tao warrior was indeed powerful. If this situation continued, Wang Hao believed that it wouldn't be long before he could awaken all of his spirit and reach the peak of his previous life. "Long Ao, you don't have to deceive yourself. I know your strength. It's just that you haven't awakened your spirit yet." Before Long Ao finished speaking, Wang Hao continued, "After the spirit awakens, you and I will both be supreme Tao warriors. I dare not speak for the outer sea, but it will be easy for us to destroy a small sacred mountain. What do you think?" "Wang Hao, I'm curious. You and I both know the power of Sacred Mountain. Since that's the case, you can easily destroy Sacred Mountain with your strength alone. Why do you come to me?" Regarding this point, Long Ao seriously could not figure it out. However, Wang Hao had already reached the sage-to-be realm. In less than 3 years, he would definitely awaken all of his spirit. Once he reached the supreme Tao realm, he could easily destroy Sacred Mountain and dominate Cloud Island. If that was the case, why did Wang Hao come to him? Was Wang Hao out of his mind and wanted to divide half of Cloud Island with someone else? "Long Ao, you and I are straightforward people. I won't beat around the bush. In my previous life, I had many enemies, but I couldn't take revenge, so I need an ally. You are the most suitable person." "I see. My request is simple. As long as you can help me kill my enemies, Cloud Island will be yours. What do you think?" "Sorry, I like to be alone. You'd better find someone else." Rejected? Hearing that the other party was unwilling, Wang Hao's face instantly turned cold. He said in a cold voice, "Long Ao, as the saying goes, a wise man submits to circumstances. You haven't awakened your soul yet. If I kill you now, do you think you'll have a chance to awaken your soul?" "You want to kill me?" "That's right. If you can't be my friend, then you're my enemy. As for the fate of my enemies, I believe you don't know. Let me tell you now. Every one of my enemies only has one ending, and that is death. Longao coldly snorted and said, I won't agree. I want to see how you will kill me. Arrogant. Wang Hao couldn't figure out what gave Longao such confidence. But he had already awakened 1/3 of his spirit, and his cultivation had broken through to the half-saint realm. He was almost invincible on the Cloud Island, except for the sacred mountain. But what about Longao? He was just a puny great venerable. There was a huge difference between a great venerable and a half-saint realm. It could be said that a half-saint realm expert could kill a great venerable with a single move. Because of this, Wang Hao was full of confidence. As long as he wanted to, he could kill this person in front of him at any time. Longao, I'll give you one last chance. Do you agree or not? I'll answer you one last time. I won't agree. I suspect that your ears are damaged. Don't tell me you don't understand what I'm saying. Longao didn't intend to form an alliance with Wang Hao because Wang Hao was too dangerous. Once he formed an alliance with Wang Hao, there would only be one final result. There was no exception. Since he already knew the result, why would he agree? Moreover, Longao knew that he wasn't a reincarnated divine Tao expert. As long as he formed an alliance with Wang Hao's strength would increase tremendously while he would slowly become a puppet. Wang Hao's face became colder and colder. He suddenly asked, Do you know my current strength? Peak half-saint. I'm curious. Since you already know that I'm a peak half-saint, why do you still dare to do this? Aren't you afraid of death? Longao, even if you're a reincarnation realm expert, you're still trash in front of me before you awaken your soul. Do you believe me? I don't want to talk nonsense with trash. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to fight, then scram. Ha ha ha, good. Since you want to die, then I'll fulfill your wish. Saying so, Wang Hao rushed out. Before he arrived, his terrifying Saint Chi aura had already suppressed Wang Hao. In Wang Hao's opinion, he had already reached the half-saint realm. If he wanted to kill Wang Hao, it would be a piece of cake. But at this time, Longao's Saint Chi aura suddenly erupted, scaring Wang Hao so much that he almost retreated. However, Wang Hao was a reincarnation realm expert after all. He had lived 2 lives, so his ability to adapt was better than ordinary people. After a brief shock, he immediately fought Longao. Both of them were half-saint realm experts. Although Wang Hao was a reincarnation realm expert, he was facing Longao, a monster who had turned the tide. This time, Wang Hao seemed to want to end the battle quickly. As soon as he came, he immediately used his self-created martial skill, Supreme Sword Tao. The cold green destiny sword emitted a cold light. He didn't dare to be careless. Longao knew very well that his sorrow of heaven and earth couldn't suppress the Supreme Sword Tao. Instead of wasting his opportunity, he might as well think of other ways. Longao directly summoned the dragon seal from his dantian. Ever since he obtained the dragon seal, Longao rarely used it as a weapon. Although the dragon seal was incomparably hard, it still couldn't reach its peak power. But at this moment, Longao was ready to test the power of the dragon seal. Supreme Sword Tao. Wang Hao roared, and a shocking sword light instantly slashed out. However, at this moment, the blood-sucking frenzy blade suddenly appeared in Longao's hand. With the fastest speed, he slashed out his strongest blade, blood-sucking, engulfing the heavens. The shocking blade light and the shocking sword light were like 2 meteors, fiercely intertwining with each other. Intense sparks burst out, and the space was forcibly torn apart. The space constantly roared, as if it could swallow the world. Boom! A loud sound rang out, and both of them groaned at the same time. However, both of them forcibly endured and looked at each other in shock. As expected of a reincarnation realm expert, the power of the Supreme Sword Tao seemed to have doubled. If Wang Hao hadn't used his full strength and used his strongest blade, he believed that he would have been killed by the sword light. Wang Hao was similarly shocked. Firstly, he didn't expect his opponent to be a half-saint realm expert. Secondly, he didn't expect his opponent to be able to use such a powerful blade that was comparable to his Supreme Sword Tao. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, He wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Chapter 564. Wang Hao's face was gloomy to the extreme, as unsightly as it could be. The two strongest attacks could be considered to be a draw. Neither of them wasted any more words as they waited for an opportunity to strike. Their bodies moved again at this time. It was still the supreme sword Dao, but Wang Hao was clearly using the power of his spirit this time. The remnant will of the spirit was the trump card of every rebirth cultivator. It could be said that once a cultivator of the divine way successfully reincarnated, there would be a sliver of remnant will in their dantian. This sliver of remnant will would greatly increase the speed of their spirit awakening. Once they lost this sliver of remnant will, the speed of their spirit awakening would also decrease. Under normal circumstances, Wang Hao would not use this trump card because it would waste several years of his time. However, Wang Hao felt that it was worth it. He thought that Longao would also use remnant will, but Wang Hao never expected that Longao would not use it at all. Don't blame me if you want to die. Longao naturally knew about remnant will, so he was quite serious and did not dare to be careless in the slightest. Using the remnant will of the spirit, Wang Hao once again used the supreme sword Dao. This time, its power was doubled. What kind of concept was this? Longao knew very well how terrifying the power of his opponent's move was. Just the blood-sucking broadsword and dragon seal alone could not withstand it. In the end, Longao had no choice but to use the 9 needles to seal the god. Under these circumstances, only the 9 needles god seal could greatly increase his strength and even allow him to reach the saint realm. When that time came, he would have a chance to kill Wang Hao and get rid of all future troubles. The 9 needles god seal was Longao's greatest trump card. Unless it was a last resort, Longao would not use the 9 needles divine seal at all. He had used it several times since his debut and had already reached his limit. Unless his cultivation could continue to break through, there was a 99% chance of backlash if he continued to use it. But now, if he did not use the 9 needles god seal, Longao knew that it would be very difficult for him to block Wang Hao's remnant will and supreme sword Dao. Cloud Island, outside the Long family's house. Elder Ouyang, please come in. Longbai felt extremely helpless as he stared at the 3 people in front of him. His worst fears had really come true. Ouyang Mingchun gave a cold snort before he said in a frosty voice, Longbai, you sure are bold. How dare you disregard our sacred mountain? Elder Ouyang, what are you talking about? Our Long family has always shocked the sacred mountain. Both Luo Fei and Sui looked at Longbai with disdain. Luo Fei put on a fake smile and said, Longbai, you were there when Longao looked down on the sacred mountain. I really want to ask you, why didn't you say something back then? Longbai harshly despised the 3 of them in his heart, but due to the sacred mountain's strength, he had no choice but to compromise. Elder Ouyang, Longao is just a guest of my Long family. I have no right to criticize him. As for the grudge between Longao and the sacred mountain, it really has nothing to do with our Long family. Father. At this moment, Long Heng's figure suddenly appeared and said coldly, my master is just teaching 2 dogs a lesson. What's wrong with that? Slap. Before Long Hong could finish speaking, Ouyang Mingchun slapped him across the face. If he hadn't held back, this slap alone would have been enough to take Long Heng's life. In truth, it was impossible for Ouyang Mingchun to kill Long Hong. The reason was simple, Long Hong was still Long Bai's son, and the sacred mountain still needed to rely on the Long family to keep the other 2 families in check. Impudent. Who do you think you are? You're nothing but trash. As Long Bai saw his own son nearly beaten to death, his complexion had turned cold and gloomy to the extreme. His body emitted an icy killing intent. Ouyang Mingchun was a world king martial artist, but he was also a world king martial artist. Once they fought, it was hard to say who would win. But in the end, Long Bai endured it. After all, he was the patriarch of the Long family. As the patriarch of the Long family, he had to consider the interests of the family. He couldn't allow the family to fall into eternal damnation just for himself and his son. The sacred mountain only knows how to bully the weak. Your 2 dogs are randomly biting people. Is my master not allowed to teach them a lesson? I really want to ask, Who set this rule? Hunger. Longbai was shocked. He never imagined that his precious son would protect Longao like this. But no matter what, the person in front of him was still a world king martial artist of the sacred mountain. If Ouyang Mingchun really killed Long Hong, what should he do? Longbai, I won't kill him because of you, but you can't escape punishment. Since you dared to insult the sacred mountain, I'll cripple your Dantian. Longbai was shocked. How could he let someone cripple his son's Dantian? Long Hong was the only person in the Long family who could advance to the illusionary divine stage. Longbai stood in front of Long Hong and coldly looked at the three people in front of him. You've gone too far. Before Longbai could even finish his sentence, he was sent flying. From start to finish, Longbai had not even seen a single shadow of the other party. Third Elder. When they saw the old man who had suddenly appeared, the three people immediately bowed respectfully. Zhou Dian, the third elder of the sacred mountain, was a half-step saint martial artist. The sacred mountain had sent a half-step saint to establish their authority on Cloud Island. Not only did they want to kill Longao, but they also wanted to use the Long family as an example to intimidate Cloud Island. But the sacred mountain wasn't stupid. They wouldn't destroy the Long family. The sacred mountain had to rely on the Long family to keep the Yi and Wang families in check. Third Elder. Longbai's expression was extremely ugly as he struggled to his feet. He knew that the sacred mountain had already made up their mind to kill them by mobilizing half-step saints this time. If he tried to stop them, not only would he suffer, even his entire family would not be able to escape destruction. Longbai, the Long family was in the wrong first. The sacred mountain's dignity cannot be insulted. Since Long Hong is your son, I can be lenient, but you must hand over Longao. It was unknown how Zhou Dian attacked, but Long Heng's blood-curdling scream rang out. It turned out that Long Heng's left arm had been forcibly cut off. When he heard his son scream, Longbai closed his eyes in pain. Then, he opened them and said, Longao left last night, and his whereabouts are unknown. My Long family doesn't know where Longao is. If you don't believe me, Third Elder, you can search for him. Longbai didn't say anything, but his voice had clearly turned cold. No need. Longbai, you must remember that there is only one ruler of Cloud Island, and that is the sacred mountain. If you dare to ignore the sacred mountain in the future, I will kill you without mercy. Next time, I won't be so kind. I hope you remember. Let's go. Longbai's heart was filled with hatred as he watched the three people turn and leave. But he couldn't do anything about it. He could only pick up his unconscious son and quickly return to the family. Chapter 565. Seaside. In order to kill Longao, Wang Hao had even used his trump card, which was the so-called remnant consciousness of the godly spirit. The power of the unparalleled sword Dao doubled instantly. If Longao did not use the nine-needle sealing spirit, it would be difficult for him to defend against this move. However, Longao was also very worried, because if he used the nine needles to seal the gods, once he suffered a backlash and the other party was not killed, then he would still be the unlucky one. Just as the sword light was about to slash at him, Longao was about to use the nine needles sealing spirit to forcefully raise his cultivation state. Suddenly, Longao's body trembled. At this moment, Longao realized in shock that he could not move his body. That's right, he could not move. Just what was going on? What was going on? Longao was completely scared out of his wits. He could not move earlier or later, but at this moment, he could not move at all. Looking at the sword light that was about to slash at him, was he going to be killed just like that? Boom! A loud sound rang out, reverberating through the entire world. Longao felt that his Dantian had released a terrifying aura that had never changed since ancient times. It instantly enveloped the heaven and earth. In the midst of this terrifying aura, Wang Hao's sword was instantly swallowed up and disappeared without a trace. Chaos Stone Tablet? Feeling this mysterious and terrifying aura, Wang Hao seemed to have thought of something as his face revealed a look of surprise. Chaos Stone Tablet. Wang Hao obviously knew about the Chaos Stone Tablet. Of course, he knew what it represented. However, at this moment, Wang Hao did not want to fight it head-on. After all, he had all the time. He turned around and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, Wang Hao realized in shock that his body could not move as well. Everything, including the seawater, was still. It was as if the entire world was frozen. Whether it was Longao or Wang Hao, they were completely shocked, because neither of them knew what was going on. At this moment, everything was frozen, including Longao. It was precisely because of this that Longao was very puzzled. Why had he been frozen? Could it be that his fusion had not been successful? Longao had already tried to fuse with the Chaos Stone Tablet. He had thought that he had succeeded, but the truth was that he hadn't. Otherwise, the Chaos Stone Tablet wouldn't have frozen him in place. A small stone tablet shot out from Longao's body. In the blink of an eye, the stone tablet expanded countless times, and one could not see the end of it. Rumble, rumble. Terrifying sounds resounded throughout the heavens and earth. One after another, the sounds didn't stop. The sky-piercing stone steel suddenly shot out words. Wang Hao's eyes widened as he said in surprise, "The martial skills contained in the primal chaos stone steel. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha." Upon hearing these words, Longao was greatly astonished. Upon closer inspection, Longao discovered that it was just as Wang Hao had said. At this moment, the primal chaos stone tablet was emitting small characters. It was a profound and unfathomable martial skill. But whether it was Longao or Wang Hao, neither of them were able to understand these characters. They couldn't even forcefully remember them. If they tried, their souls would tremble. Whether it was Longao or Wang Hao, neither of them dared to continue looking at these so-called characters. Even if their hearts were filled with unwillingness, after all, compared to other things, their lives were simply too important. The primal chaos stone steel had a total of 12 sides. Each primal chaos stone tablet was the strongest divine tool in the world. And within each primal chaos stone tablet was a supreme martial skill. According to what Long Fu had said, as long as one obtained a martial skill from the primal chaos stone tablet, they could become one of the strongest people in the world. Longao, you actually obtained the primal chaos stone tablet, but you have helped me instead. Ha ha ha, if I can obtain the primal chaos stone tablet, I can become the strongest person in the world. From then on, in the heavens and on earth, only I can reign supreme. Idiot. Too lazy to bother with Wang Hao, Longao's soul had already connected to the dragon seal space. He directly asked, "Long Fu, what happened? Why did the primal chaos stone tablet suddenly act like this?" Longao was depressed to the extreme. Originally, he had already merged with the primal chaos stone tablet and was prepared to work hard to comprehend the martial skill. But who would have thought that something like this would happen? "Master, the reason why the primal chaos stone tablet is acting like this, if there is no accident, it should be because there is a heaven-defying treasure in the sea that triggered the primal chaos stone tablet. Master, if you want to obtain this treasure, you can enter the sea." "Don't. I don't want to die yet." What a joke. Entering the sea was equivalent to seeking death. Needless to say, even a divine path martial artist might not dare to enter the sea. After all, the sea was endless and no one knew what was in the sea. "Master, don't be impatient. In less than 3 minutes, the primal chaos stone tablet will return to normal." Nodding his head, Long Ao naturally chose to believe in Long Fu. As expected, 3 minutes later, the primal chaos stone tablet slowly shrank and returned to Long Ao's body. At this time, Long Ao and Wang Hao could move at the same time. "Long Ao, hand over the primal chaos stone tablet and I can spare your life." As he spoke, Wang Hao's body had already shot out. From start to finish, Wang Hao had never imagined that Long Ao would have a primal chaos stone tablet in his body. Because of this, Wang Hao had already decided that no matter what happened, he had to obtain the primal chaos stone tablet. Long Ao naturally could not hand over the primal chaos stone tablet. What a joke! The primordial divine dragon had already said that there were 12 primal chaos stone tablets in the world. As long as one could obtain one of them, they could become the strongest martial artist in the world. Long Ao's fists fiercely smashed out. In the blink of an eye, he had already exchanged 30 rounds with Wang Hao. The two were still evenly matched. Longao, hand over the primal chaos stone tablet and the grudge between us will be written off. How about it? Trash. Longao did not stop at all. Instead, he held his blood-sucking blade and attacked Wang Hao continuously. A dragon's roar resounded. Following that, Long Chang's body suddenly appeared. A man and a dragon working together. It was not as simple as 1+1. A dragon warrior? Seeing the sudden appearance of the black dragon, Wang Hao's expression changed. What did a dragon warrior represent? Of course he knew what it represented. A dragon warrior was a combination of man and dragon. Before Wang Hao could react, Longao and Long Chang had already shot out from two different directions. One fist, one tail, not giving Wang Hao the slightest chance to react. Gotcha! While Wang Hao and Long Chang were fighting, Longao seized a rare opportunity to directly use his blood-sucking blade to cut off Wang Hao's left arm. If Wang Hao had not dodged quickly, this blade would have been enough to cut off his arm. The Azure Hades sword fell to the ground. Before Wang Hao could react, Longao had already obtained the Azure Hades sword. Longao did not give Wang Hao the slightest chance to catch his breath. Joining forces with Long Chang, they launched their most ferocious attacks. Chapter 566. Wang Hao had already been defeated in this battle. Even though he was unwilling to admit it, Wang Hao knew that he would die if he continued to fight. He didn't dare to stay any longer, so he quickly turned around and left. How could Longao give up this opportunity so easily? He first sent Longao back to the Dragon Seal space and then chased after Wang Hao. However, Wang Hao was very fast and he disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Longao clenched his fists tightly, his heart filled with unwillingness. If it was a normal half-saint, then so be it. But Wang Hao's situation was different. No matter what, Wang Hao was still a rebirth cultivator. Once his soul awakened, he would become a divine cultivator. Divine cultivators were the strongest existences in the world. If Wang Hao really did become a divine cultivator and went to the 9 states to find trouble with him, wouldn't that be like letting a tiger return to the mountains? Longao didn't give up and instead began to search for Wang Hao's whereabouts. After searching for a few hours, he still couldn't find him, so he got up and returned to Cloud City. Long family, Long Heng's residence. Longao had just returned to the Long family when he felt that the atmosphere was quite strange. It seemed like everyone was looking at him differently. What had happened? Longao quickened his pace and entered the courtyard. Just as he opened the door, he saw Long Heng lying on the bed. What happened? Longao's intuition told him that this matter definitely had something to do with the sacred mountain. Master, Patriarch Long, I want to hear the truth. Of course, Longbai wouldn't hide anything. After all, this matter was already known to everyone. Then, Longbai told everything that had happened in detail. After listening to everything, Longao didn't become angry or manic as expected. Instead, he was very calm, causing Longbai and Long Heng to not know what to do. Suddenly, Longao asked, "Are Zhoujian and the others still in Cloud City?" "Yes, Zhoujian seems to be waiting for you to appear, so he didn't leave Cloud City and stayed in the Wang family. Wait for me to return, Master." Before Long Heng could finish calling him Master, Longao had already left. Long Heng's face was filled with worry as he said helplessly, "Father, let's go and take a look too." Longbai nodded. Of course he knew what Longao had gone to do. He just didn't want to believe it. Zhoujian was a half-step saint, but what about Longao? If Longao wanted to fight against a half-step saint with just the strength of a peak great venerable, he was practically courting death. Longbai knew that his son was completely loyal to Longao, so he didn't say anything and quietly left the Long family with Long Heng. Long Heng and Longbai's intentions were very simple. No matter what, this matter had nothing to do with the Long family. Yun City, Wang family. As one of the 3 great clans, the Wang clan's strength and resources went without saying. According to the rumors, the Wang clan had a rather good relationship with the sacred mountain. Otherwise, Zhoujian would not have stayed in the Wang clan. Wang family backyard. Wang Luo, Wang Yi, Zhoujian, Ouyang Mingchun, and the others were chatting happily. Just as Longbai said, Zhoujian did not leave Yun City this time mainly because he was waiting for Longao. The reason was very simple. Zhoujian was very confident that as long as Longao heard that his disciple had lost an arm, he would definitely not let the matter rest. If he came impulsively, he would definitely not be able to return alive. Third Elder, in the next family tournament, our Wang clan will definitely defeat the Yi and Long families and take first place. Zhoujian smiled and said, I think very highly of the Wang clan. I have always believed that Yun City only needs one clan, but there are always people who disagree. But it doesn't matter. As long as the Wang clan develops well and listens to us, we will become the master of Yun City sooner or later. Many thanks. The Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Luo, and their #1 expert, Wang Yi, were pleasantly surprised. Because they had managed to climb such a big tree, the future of their clan could be said to be bright. Third Elder, Longao may not have the guts to come after you cut off Longao's arm this time. No matter what, Longao is only a great venerable. Nodding, Zhoujian said, I didn't think of this at the time. It seems that Longao won't come. I will return to the Holy Land in a little while. Again, develop the clan's strength well and listen to us. Take first place in this family tournament. When the time comes, I will be able to speak for you in the Holy Land. Third Elder, don't worry. I guarantee that nothing will go wrong in this family tournament. Third Elder, if you leave and Longao comes back and comes looking for us, how should we deal with him? Wang Luo's meaning was very simple. He wanted to ask if they should kill Longao or hand him over to him when he came. Zhoujian was a cunning old fox. How could he not understand Wang Luo's meaning? Nodding with appreciation, Zhoujian smiled and said, Don't worry about me. If Longao really comes looking for us, you can kill him. But remember, his corpse must be hung outside the walls of Cloud City. I want to see just who dares to disobey and ignore the Holy Land in the future. Third Elder, watch us. Whether it was Wang Luo or Zhoujian, neither of them placed Longao in their eyes. To be able to fight evenly with Wang Hao meant that Longao's strength was infinitely close to that of a world king. Let alone a half-step saint, even a world king could easily kill Longao. It was because of this that the Wang clan and Zhoujian didn't place Longao in their eyes. Both sides were looking forward to Longao coming to their doorstep. At that time, they would be able to catch a turtle in a jar. Third Elder, I have a presumptuous request. Speak. I hope that Third Elder can stay for a few more days and guide the younger disciples. Third Elder has always been their idol. Since you've come, why don't you guide them? One couldn't help but admit that Wang Luo's flattery was loud enough. Zhoujian also seemed to enjoy it. He nodded as if he didn't want to. He said, Since that's the case, I'll stay for a few more days and guide them. Wang Luo was overjoyed. His thoughts were simple. He wanted Zhoujian to stay for a few more days so that he could form a good relationship with him. For the family, this was absolutely beneficial. Zhoujian trash, hurry up and come out to die. Zhoujian trash, hurry up and come out to die. Zhoujian trash, hurry up and come out to die. At this moment, numerous furious roars suddenly sounded from outside, and the voice spread throughout the surroundings. When everyone heard this voice, their expressions changed, and they all looked towards Zhoujian. Because everyone had already guessed who exactly was the person that furiously roared and insulted Zhoujian. You're courting death. He doesn't know the difference between life and death. Longao actually dares to come. This time, I'll make it so that he won't be able to return. Senior, rest assured that my Wang clan will handle this matter. Zhoujian waved his hand, his complexion ugly. After all, he was an elder of a holy land and also a half-step saint martial artist. When had he ever been insulted like this? This was simply unbearable, unbearable, unbearable. Let's go out together. I want to see whether or not this legendary Longao has 3 heads and 6 arms. Chapter 567. Trash Zhoujian, come out and accept your death. Longao stood at the entrance of the Wang family, exuding a powerful aura that was aggressive and murderous. The news of Longao causing havoc in the Wang family spread everywhere. In a short while, the Wang family was surrounded by people. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. Everyone had a general understanding of Longao. Being able to fight to a draw with Longao meant that this person was not simple at all. But even so, Longao dared to cause trouble in the Wang family and called Zhou Dian trash. This was suicide. The more Longao acted like this, the more people wanted to watch the show. They wanted to see what this arrogant young man would do. Looking at the crowd coming out of the Wang family, Longao locked onto an old man. Without a doubt, among the crowd, only this person's aura had reached the so-called half-saint realm. You're Longao? I'm your grandfather, and you're my grandson. You lacked calcium since you were young, and lacked love when you grew up. Your grandmother doesn't love you, and your uncle doesn't love you. Your left cheek deserves a slap, and your right cheek deserves a kick. You shameless thing that kicks donkeys and tramples pigs. You were born in the year of the donkey. You deserve a beating. Longao was furious to the extreme because Long Heng's left arm was cut off entirely because of him. Wang Hao. Longao couldn't wait to find Wang Hao and kill him immediately. Because if it weren't for Wang Hao, he wouldn't have left the Long family. If Zhou Dian dared to cause trouble, there would only be one result: tragedy. Longao didn't give the other party any chance to speak. His face was full of coldness and mockery. A man is cheap for a lifetime, and a pig is cheap with a knife. Zhou Dian, you actually involved a junior in the grudge between me and the Sacred Land. You've really embarrassed the Sacred Land. Oh right. Zhou Dian and the others didn't even have a chance to speak. Longao continued, I almost forgot that the Sacred Land was originally a nest of shamelessness that raised a group of shameless things like you. Longao's words showed that he didn't care about the Sacred Land at all. Everyone was stunned when they heard Longao's scolding. They stood there in a daze. They didn't know what gave Longao such great courage. The Sacred Land, the Sacred Land, the supreme existence of Cloud Island. Since it became the overlord of Cloud Island, no one had dared to scold the Sacred Land. Even the 3 overlords of Cloud City, the so-called 3 great clans, didn't dare to do so. Regardless of whether Longao was courting death or not, just this courage alone was worthy of everyone's admiration. Some people secretly gave a thumbs up in their hearts to express their admiration. Longao, I can't help but admire your courage. Do you know the consequences of publicly insulting the Holy Land? Not only was Zhou Dian not angry, he even asked with a smile, Ha 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 ha. Kid, are you out of your mind? Who the F***ck do you think you are? You think you're a saint? Hearing Longao's words, ridicule came from all around. Contempt was written all over their faces, as if they had heard the funniest thing in the world. Longao, what if I don't agree? It's very simple. Not only will you die, but the 3 dogs behind you will also die. Even the Sacred Land will be in trouble because of your shamelessness and ignorance. Longao's words once again attracted countless mocking laughter. Only Zhou Dian's face was solemn. The more Longao behaved like this, the more Zhou Dian was afraid. Did this person really have something to rely on? Die. Before everyone could react, a shocking aura suddenly erupted from Longao's body. Along with it, the blood-sucking wild blade that suddenly appeared in his hand fiercely hacked out. Zhou Dian and the others dodged, but Ouyang Mengchun and the others suffered. They were instantly obliterated by the shocking blade light, not leaving a single one alive. He killed 5 experts with a single slash, and even brought the number 1 expert of the Wang clan, the only world emperor. What kind of concept was this? No one knew what had just happened. Everyone stared blankly at the scene that had just happened, as if they couldn't believe it. Half-step saint realm. Half-step saint? Zhou Dian's voice rang in everyone's ears. Everyone who heard it turned pale with fright. So Longao was a half-step saint. No wonder he could kill 5 experts with a single slash. Zhou Dian and Wang Luo's faces were extremely solemn. No one would have thought that Longao was not a great sovereign, but a genuine half-step saint. Zhou Dian cursed fiercely. If he had known that Longao was a half-step saint, the Sacred Land would definitely not have sent him to kill him, but to rope him in. Now that the mistake had been made, there was no turning back. Longao, You really hid your strength well. Your mistake is unforgivable. Die. In the distance, Long Hung and Long Bai, who had just arrived, suddenly heard Zhou Dian's words. The two of them trembled in fright, thinking that they had misheard. Half-step saint? Long Ao was actually a half-step saint? Honger, no matter what happens in the future, you just have to remember one thing. Don't leave your master's side. Long Hung nodded. Long Hung naturally knew what his father meant, because he had never imagined that his master would actually be a half-step saint. The news that Long Ao was a half-step saint shook Cloud City. A half-step saint was already the strongest cultivator in Cloud City. Everyone felt as if they were dreaming. Long Ao, so what if you're a half-step saint? Do you really think that you're invincible? Zhou Dian was still confident. No matter what, his opponent was still too young. Long Ao did not reply. Instead, he answered Zhou Dian with an attack. Long Ao blamed himself for losing Long Heng's left arm. In Long Ao's opinion, it was all because of him that his disciple had ended up in such a state. Because of this, Long Ao had no intention of letting Zhou Dian and the Wang family off. Before Long Ao came here, he had already thought that he would have to leave Cloud City sooner or later. The grudge between him and Wang Hao had already developed to a point where one of them had to die. He believed that even if he did not deal with Wang Hao would come looking for him. Rather than that, before he left, it was better to suppress the Wang family and completely support the Long family to become the overlord of Cloud Island. Therefore, when Long Ao had attacked Ouyang Mengchun, he had also killed the Wang family's #1 expert. This way, as long as the sacred land and Wang Hao did not interfere, the Long family would become the overlord. When Long Ao slashed out with his bloodthirsty blade, a dragon's roar instantly rang out. Immediately after, the illusory image of a dragon appeared behind Long Ao. A majestic dragon's aura covered the sky and covered the earth, scaring everyone silly. Chapter 568. The dragon's roar reverberated between heaven and earth. Everyone stared blankly at the giant dragon shadow that suddenly appeared behind Long Ao. Before Zhou Dian could react, he had already discovered that his body had been locked in place and the time around him had begun to flow backward. What was going on? What was going on? Zhou Dian was completely dumbfounded. At this moment, Long Ao had already arrived in front of Zhou Dian. The bloodthirsty broadsword in his hand slashed down mercilessly, directly killing Zhou Dian and Wang Luo with a single slash. After killing Zhou Dian, Long Ao immediately turned and left. He didn't even stay for a second longer. Long Ao was very worried about Long Hung. After all, he had lost an arm. This would be a great hindrance to his future cultivation. The news of Long Ao killing the sacred land's half-saint Zhou Dian instantly spread throughout the entire Cloud Island as if it had grown wings. The sacred land was no exception. At the same time as the uproar in Cloud City, everyone thought that the sacred land would directly send an army and even more powerful warriors to attack Long Ao. But what was the result? The result was unexpected. The sacred land didn't take any action at all. It was as if the incident had never happened. What was the sacred land's intention? Everyone was guessing what the sacred land's intention was. No matter what the sacred land would do, everyone was very sure that they would never let the matter rest. Not to mention losing a half-saint, the sacred land absolutely couldn't afford to lose face. However, the sacred land was the overlord of Cloud Island. When had they ever been toyed with like this? It was simply a slap in the face in front of everyone. Long family's main hall. The Long family already knew that Long Ao was a half-saint. So when Long Ao returned to the Long family, everyone's attitude immediately took a 180-degree turn. Even the Long family's #1 expert, Long Jian, personally came out to welcome him. Long Ao didn't like this very much. He coldly entered Long Heng's small courtyard and informed everyone that no matter who it was, no one was allowed to take a step into the small courtyard. If it was the Long Ao from before, perhaps some people would not put him in their eyes. But now, Long Ao had killed Zhou Dian and the others with his own strength in front of everyone's eyes. Who in the Long family would be so blind as to provoke this fiend? Everyone was respectful to Long Ao, and didn't dare to slight him. In the small courtyard, "Master, I'm really fine." It would be a lie to say that he wasn't sad about losing his left arm. However, Long Hung knew very well that his master had killed Zhou Dian and the others in a fit of rage for his sake, including the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Luo, the #1 expert of the Wang clan. His master had done a lot for him. Therefore, no matter how sad he was, Long Hong could only swallow his sadness. "Give me some peace and quiet." Long Ao sat on the stool and thought about it quietly. Long Heng's left arm was cut off because of him. So, no matter what happened, he had to help Long Hong. "Dragon Space. Long Fu, my request is simple. I hope that you can help Long Hong reattach his severed left arm. Can you do it?" In Long Ao's eyes, Long Fu was omnipotent and omnipotent. But Long Fu shook his head and said, "Long Heng's left arm can't be reattached, but a spiritual beast's arm can be reattached. This way, his strength will increase. It might not be a bad thing." Reattach a spiritual beast's left arm? Long Ao thought about it and couldn't think of any spiritual beast's left arm that would be suitable for Long Hong. "Master, let me think about it." "Don't worry. Long Heng's left arm might not be a bad thing." Nodding his head, Long Ao heaved a sigh of relief after hearing Long Fu's words. But he didn't know how to explain it to Long Hong. After leaving the dragon space, Long Ao came to Long Heng's side and said, "Long Hong, I'm sorry about this. Master, I only have one thing to say. A master for a day is a father for life." Long Ao was a little touched. After all, it was worth it to have such a disciple. So he said, "Long Hong, your left arm can be replaced by a spiritual beast's left arm. Moreover, your strength will increase. Are you willing?" "I'm willing." Long Hong didn't even think about it and directly agreed. Because Long Hong knew that since it had already happened, he had to face it calmly. Not to mention, losing a left arm, especially for his master, was worth it in his opinion. "Okay, you rest first. I'll refine pills for you." Long Fu had already said that even if he wanted to reattach a spiritual beast's left arm to Long Hong, he would need a lot of pills. Otherwise, the chances of failure would be very high. With Long Ao's current alchemy skills, as long as it wasn't a heaven-defying pill, there shouldn't be any problems. Dusk, Long Family Hall. "Patriarch Long, Senior Long, I killed Zhou Dian and the patriarch of the Wang family. If nothing unexpected happens, the sacred ground and Wang Hao will come looking for trouble. So I have a suggestion. Please speak." Master Long, before you speak, I have a question. About a little Wang Hao." Long Bai didn't finish speaking, but the meaning of his words was very clear. In their eyes, Wang Hao was just a little great sovereign. Even without his uncle, he could easily kill Wang Hao. The gap between a great sovereign and a world king was well known. Long Ao smiled helplessly. He wasn't worried about the sacred ground. Instead, he was most worried about Wang Hao. "Gentlemen, I can tell you that Wang Hao is far more dangerous than the sacred ground. I can tell you a secret. Have you heard of samsara martial artists?" Samsara martial artists? Although Long Jian and Long Bai didn't know what Long Ao meant by this, Long Jian still nodded and said, "I've heard rumors. It is said that when a divine way martial artist wants to break through to a higher realm or is killed, their divine soul can enter the path of samsara. Once they successfully pass through samsara, they can be reincarnated and have a chance to awaken and become a divine way martial artist again." After saying this, Long Jian and Long Bai seemed to have thought of something as shock filled their faces. The two of them looked at Long Ao at the same time and asked in unison, "Sect Master Long, could Wang Hao be a reincarnation realm martial practitioner?" Long Bai and Long Jian felt a little despair when they saw Long Ao nod his head. Of course, they knew what it meant to be a rebirth realm martial practitioner, but the two of them had never imagined that Wang Hao would actually be a rebirth realm martial practitioner. Didn't that mean that Wang Hao would become a powerful divine practitioner the moment he awakened his divine soul? A divine way martial artist. Not to mention the Long family, even the sacred ground could easily destroy them. "Master Long, has Wang Hao awakened his divine soul? I fought with Wang Hao before. Now that Wang Hao's cultivation has reached the half-step saint realm, I believe that he should have awakened his divine soul." Therefore, Wang Hao is definitely more dangerous than the sacred ground. What we need to do now is to find Wang Hao as quickly as possible. Chapter 569. Master Long, forgive me for being blunt. A bitter smile appeared on Long Bai's face as he said, if Wang Hao is purposely hiding himself, it will indeed be impossible for us to find him in this vast ocean with countless islands. Long Ao naturally knew what Long Bai meant. The outer seas were too big, and there were countless islands that no one knew about. However, Long Ao also knew that Wang Hao was too dangerous. He had to find Wang Hao as soon as possible. Otherwise, once Wang Hao awakened his divine soul and reached the divine way, he would be in big trouble. Moreover, he had basically destroyed the Wang family. It could be said that only one of them could survive. Patriarch Long, we have to find Wang Hao no matter what. I have a plan that we can try. Long Bai and Long Jian were delighted. Of course, they knew that Wang Hao had not truly awakened his divine soul yet. This was the best time to kill him. The consequences would be unimaginable once Wang Hao reached the divine way. After that, the three of them began to discuss how to deal with Wang Hao. The news that Long Ao had killed Zhou Dian and the others had shaken the entire Cloud City. Everyone was talking about it because no one knew where Long Ao had come from. Everyone thought that the sacred grounds would act against Long Ao, but they did not do anything. After Long Ao killed the two experts of the Wang family, the Wang family's status in the Cloud City plummeted. They had already fallen out of the position of the three great families. Next, whether the Wang family could make a comeback or not, everyone was looking forward to it. However, at this time, the Long family suddenly spread the news that Long Ao had destroyed the Wang family. This news instantly spread throughout Cloud City and even to the surrounding islands. What was the Long family planning? No one knew what the Long family was thinking. Could it be that the Long family and Long Ao had broken off their relationship? That did not seem very likely. After all, the news that Long Ao was a half-step sage practitioner had already spread. Unless the Long family had lost their minds, they would definitely cling onto the big tree that was Long Ao. Half-saint martial artists were the strongest martial artists in Cloud City. Once the Long family obtained the support of Long Ao, they could destroy the Yi family in minutes and become the absolute overlord of Cloud City. However, it had to be known that Long Ao had even dared to kill a half-step saint from a holy land. This in itself showed that Long Ao didn't put a holy land in his eyes at all. The Wang family. Right now, the Wang clan was in an extremely miserable state. The clan head and old ancestor had been killed at the same time, and almost all of the guest elders had left. Without any experts to hold down the fort, the Wang clan's decline was even faster than expected. In the pitch-black night, only the sound of croaking could be heard. At this moment, a figure shot over quickly. In the blink of an eye, he had already entered the Wang family. Wang Hao looked at the desolate clan. His face was extremely gloomy, extremely unsightly. Wang Hao had never thought that Long Ao would be so ruthless, directly killing two experts of the Wang clan, causing the Wang clan to rapidly decline. Long Ao, just you wait. One day, I will let you know the feeling of living a life worse than death. Wang Hao, there's no need to wait. I want to experience the feeling of living a life worse than death now. Hearing the voice behind him, Wang Hao didn't feel the slightest bit surprised. It was as if he had already guessed that Long Ao would appear. Long Ao, you shouldn't have destroyed my Wang clan. Wang Hao, you have to understand one thing. I am dealing with the Holy Land. It was the Wang clan that interfered with the grudge between me and the Holy Land. I was just defending myself. Moreover, you and I have already fought a life and death battle. No matter what, one of us has to die. You want to start a war here? Why not? Just now, you said that you would let me live a life worse than death. Since that's the case, I will give you this opportunity. Ha ha ha, Long Ao, I will make you regret this. After speaking, Wang Hao turned around and quickly left. In a few leaps, Wang Hao's figure had already disappeared without a trace. Long Ao didn't chase after him. The corner of his mouth slowly curved into a cold smile. At this moment, a figure walked out of the darkness. It was Long Hong. Master, will Wang Hao really go to the clan? 100%. Wang Hao knows that he is no match for me. Moreover, my base camp is not on Cloud Island. This way, Wang Hao can only attack the Long clan. In the entire Long clan, no one is a match for Wang Hao. Therefore, I am certain that Wang Hao will definitely slaughter everyone in the Long clan to avenge the Wang clan. Hearing his master's words, Long Hong was very worried. He asked, "Master, what should we do now? I have already set up a formation in the Long clan. As long as Wang Hao dares to step into the Long clan, I will not let him return." Formation? Master set up a formation in the Long clan? Long Hong really didn't know about this. Because of this, Long Hong was very shocked. This was because he had never thought that his master was not only an alchemist, but also a formation master. Moreover, he was a sage-to-be warrior. If a person could master one of the three, he would be a genius. However, if a person was proficient in all three, it wasn't a matter of being a genius. It was a matter of whether his master was human or not. Long Hong didn't ask because Longao was leading him in the direction of the Long clan. Long Hong already knew that Wang Hao was a reincarnation realm cultivator. If he couldn't kill Wang Hao this time, then once Wang Hao became a divine realm cultivator in the future, not only would he and his master suffer, even the Long clan would suffer. Success or failure depended on this one move. The Long clan was very quiet. It was pitch black, and it was so dark that one couldn't even see their own fingers. Just as Longao had guessed, Wang Hao would definitely slaughter the Long clan in order to take revenge. Wang Hao was very confident that with his current strength, as long as he didn't meet a Saint Realm cultivator, he could kill anyone he wanted. Longao, I will make you pay for your ignorance. Even though he was a reincarnated body, the Wang clan was still his clan. Now that the Wang clan had been destroyed, Wang Hao would naturally take revenge. Perhaps it was because he was too eager to take revenge, but Wang Hao didn't realize that something was wrong. He didn't even think about it before he flew into the Long clan. However, at this time, the entire Long clan was suddenly brightly lit. Long Bai and Long Jin were grinning at Wang Hao. "Wang Hao, it's already so late. What business do you have with the Long clan?" Wang Hao instantly understood what was going on when he saw that everyone was standing around him. However, Wang Hao's expression was still indifferent as he said, "Long Jin, Long Bai, I didn't think that the Long clan had long been plotting to destroy the Wang clan and take over Cloud City." Long Bai and Long Jin had indeed thought of this, but they naturally wouldn't admit it. Long Bai laughed coldly and said, "Wang Hao, cut the crap. Since you're here, you can stay." "Ha ha ha, Long Bai. You think too highly of yourself. With just the two of you?" As a half-step Saint Realm cultivator, Wang Hao didn't fear anyone because there wasn't a single illusionary divine realm cultivator in the entire Long clan. Chapter 570. Wang Hao didn't care about the people in front of him at all. This was the confidence of a half-step saint. Moreover, Wang Hao was a rebirth realm cultivator. However, Long Jin and the others had all turned around and left at this time. Wang Hao naturally wouldn't let them go, but the scene around him suddenly changed. Wang Hao was the only one in this empty space. A formation? Wang Hao was very surprised. Formation masters were very rare on this continent, 1 in 10,000. Because of this, Wang Hao never imagined that the Long family had a hidden formation master, and that the formation he set up would be so powerful. Wang Hao's expression was extremely serious. Although he had lived 2 lives and was very confident, he was still not a formation master. He knew nothing about formations. "Wang Hao, welcome to my formation," said Yifut Yin. When he heard Long Ao's voice, Wang Hao instantly understood everything. So this was Long Ao's doing. Only now did Wang Hao realize that he had been in his opponent's trap all this time. "Long Ao, you don't need to be so arrogant. One day, I will tear you to pieces." Wang Hao wasn't afraid at all because he didn't believe that Long Ao was proficient in both paths. Because of this, Wang Hao began to break the formation. He used his powerful strength to attack the empty space around him. However, Wang Hao discovered that the entire space was like a ball of cotton. No matter how hard he tried, his surroundings wouldn't move. "Wang Hao, you can try to comprehend your soul inside this formation. If you can awaken it and break through to the divine way, you will naturally be able to leave this place. Wang Hao didn't say anything, but he had the urge to curse. Soul my ass. He had used the remnants of his soul earlier, so it was very difficult for him to comprehend his soul now. Furthermore, comprehending the soul wasn't something that could be done in a day. The Long family. Master Long, can this formation really trap Wang Hao? From the outside, the entire formation looked like it was covered in a ball of light. Although Long Bai and Long Jian were very surprised, they both knew that Long Ao was no ordinary person. Otherwise, how could Long Ao be so young? Not only had he broken through to the half-step saint realm, but he was also proficient in the Tao of formations. The Tao of alchemy and the Tao of arrays shared the same principle. They were both extremely rare and even more rare than the Tao of martial artists. Long Ao only smiled and did not say anything. He was very confident in the formation he had set up. Master, now that Wang Hao is dead, the Holy Land will definitely not let this matter rest. How should we deal with this? Seeing that Wang Hao was like a turtle in a jar, Long Hong was most worried about the sacred ground. No matter what, the sacred ground was the true overlord in the hearts of everyone on Cloud Island. Even if his master was powerful, it was unrealistic for him to fight against the entire sacred ground alone. How could Long Ao not know what Long Hong was thinking? As for the Holy Land, Long Ao hadn't come up with a better plan for the time being. However, there was only one thing he needed to do right now, and that was to kill Wang Hao. In Long Ao's eyes, Wang Hao was far more dangerous than the Holy Land. Wang Hao, a rebirth realm warrior, had already begun to awaken his divine soul. No one knew when Wang Hao would succeed. However, once Wang Hao fully awakened his divine soul, he would become a supreme Tao expert. At that time, who would be able to defeat him? Seeing that his master didn't say anything, Long Hong knew that his master seemed to be very wary of Wang Hao. Long Hong couldn't figure out why his master was still acting this way since Wang Hao was already trapped in the formation. Wang Hao is not simple. In the formation. After attacking for a while, Wang Hao realized that it was as if he had been attacking cotton. He didn't continue to attack. Instead, he stood quietly in the formation and carefully observed the situation of the formation. Although Wang Hao didn't understand the formation, he was a rebirth realm warrior. In the end, he had no choice but to use the spiritual remnant consciousness. At this moment, Wang Hao was extremely depressed because he had used the spiritual remnant consciousness twice. Even if he could leave the formation alive, it would be 10 times harder for him to comprehend the divine soul and break through to the peak of the supreme Tao realm in the future. In other words, it would take him a year to comprehend the divine soul and break through to the supreme Tao realm. After using the spiritual remnant consciousness twice, he would need 10 years or even 100 years to comprehend the divine soul. Long Ao, I will definitely make you pay the price. After saying that, the spiritual remnant consciousness in Wang Hao's body suddenly burst out a powerful supreme Tao aura and directly hit the surrounding formation. Although the illusory formation set up by Long Ao was powerful, the difference between the two was too big. Once Wang Hao used the spiritual remnant consciousness, the aura released was the supreme Tao aura. Could the formation withstand the supreme Tao aura? Boom! With a loud bang, the light scattered and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Looking at Wang Hao who shot out from the formation, Long Ao didn't hesitate at all. With a big stride, his whole body rushed out. Long Ao already knew whether Wang Hao could break the formation or not. If it was an ordinary warrior, he had full confidence that he could kill the enemy with the help of the formation. However, Wang Hao's situation was different. Long Ao had already guessed that Wang Hao would definitely use the spiritual remnant consciousness. At that time, it would be difficult for the formation to trap Wang Hao. Although Wang Hao had broken the formation, Long Ao wasn't worried at all. As the saying goes, everything has its pros and cons. Although Wang Hao could break the formation with the help of the spiritual remnant consciousness, it would also leave behind a hidden danger. At the very least, it would be many times more difficult for Wang Hao to comprehend the spiritual remnant consciousness and break through to the supreme Tao realm. Long Ao was very clear that it was almost impossible to kill Wang Hao. However, The time Wang Hao needed to comprehend the spiritual remnant consciousness was very beneficial to him, because Longao was very confident in himself. 10 years, at most 20 years, Longao was confident that he could break through to the supreme Tao realm. Wang Hao and Longao's figures left quickly one after the other. Long Heng and the others were helpless. However, Wang Hao had suffered such a big loss this time. They believed that he wouldn't come back in a short time. Long Heng and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. However, the whole Long family was still worried. Although Wang Hao had left, there was still the sacred ground. In the Long family's opinion, the sacred ground was far more dangerous than Wang Hao. At least in this situation. Longao. Without waiting for Wang Hao to finish speaking, Longao directly slashed out a blade light. Since they had already reached this stage, it was useless to talk nonsense. It was better to have some practical actions. It made Wang Hao want to curse his father, but he was powerless. Without the help of the spiritual remnant consciousness, Wang Hao knew that it would be difficult for him to be a match for his opponent. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. As long as he could stay alive, once he comprehended the spiritual remnant consciousness and broke through to the supreme Tao realm, it would be a matter of minutes for him to kill Longao. Chapter 571. Wang Hao didn't choose to fight Longao head-on. Wang Hao's speed was fast, but it wasn't easy to get rid of Longao. Just like that, the two of them shot toward the city gate one after the other. Longao was very depressed because he didn't know what method Wang Hao used to directly disappear without a trace. As expected, just after leaving Cloud City, before Longao could react, Wang Hao's body disappeared without a trace again, as if he had disappeared into thin air. Standing quietly under the city wall, Longao looked around coldly, feeling the aura in the surroundings, trying to find Wang Hao, but in the end, he could only sigh. Wang Hao, I know you haven't left. Although I can't sense your existence, I can tell you clearly that you can only be a coward for the rest of your life. In my eyes, a Supreme Tao reincarnation martial artist is worse than trash, a coward. Provocation. Longao hoped to use provocation to lure Wang Hao out, but the end result was that no matter how he provoked, Wang Hao was like a stone sinking into the sea, not responding. Coward. After Longao finished speaking, he turned around and returned to Cloud City, because he knew that no matter what he did, Wang Hao wouldn't appear. Since that was the case, why should he waste more time? If it was the previous Wang Hao, Longao might be very worried, but Wang Hao had used the remnant consciousness of the spirit twice. It was very difficult to comprehend the spirit and achieve supreme Tao. Because of this, Longao knew that he had enough time to prepare. Not long after Longao returned to Cloud City, Wang Hao's figure suddenly appeared from the night. Wang Hao had a martial skill that could hide in the night, and it was very difficult for anyone to find his trace. It was by relying on this martial skill that Wang Hao dodged Longao's pursuit time and time again. At this moment, Wang Hao's face was gloomy to the extreme, as ugly as it could be. His family was destroyed, and he was almost killed. All of this was because of one person. Longao, I will come back sooner or later. Wang Hao did not act rashly because he knew that unless his soul could awaken once more, it would be very difficult for him to take revenge. Forcefully suppressing the anger and killing intent in his heart, Wang Hao turned around and quickly left. In a short while, Wang Hao's figure had already disappeared into the boundless night. After returning to the Long family, Longao didn't talk about this matter. Long Heng and the others also didn't ask about it because Long Jin and the others knew what to ask and what not to ask. Senior Long Jin, I'll have to trouble you with something. Please speak, Master Dragon. Long Jin was startled. He didn't dare to casually accept Longao's salute. What kind of joke was this? Longao was a genuine semi-sage expert. He was the most powerful expert in Yun City. Long Jin could imagine that Longao could destroy the entire Long family at any time if he wanted to. Senior Long Jin, bring me a letter to the sacred land. Master Dragon, forgive me for asking, but I believe the sacred land won't let go of the grudge between you and the sacred land. If you take the initiative to provoke the sacred land now, once the sacred land really goes crazy. Although Long Jian didn't finish his words, the meaning in his words was very clear. How could Long Ao not know what Long Jian meant? Long Jian was afraid that he would send a letter of challenge to the sacred land. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm preparing to leave Yan Island soon. Before I leave, I'll completely resolve the grudge between me and the sacred land, so as to avoid unnecessary trouble for the Long family." "Master Dragon, you're leaving?" Long Jian was startled when he heard that Long Ao was leaving. No matter what, Long Ao had killed Zhou Dian and had completely provoked the sacred land. Once Long Ao left Yun City, the sacred land could only vent their anger on the Long family. Taking a step back, even if Long Ao temporarily resolved the grudge between him and the sacred land and left Yun City, what if the sacred land went back on their words? Would Long Ao be able to resist the sacred land? Long Jian hesitated as if he wanted to say something. In the end, he didn't say anything because he didn't know how to say it. "Senior Long Jian, I know what you're worried about. Don't worry, even if I leave, I'll leave a sacred beast for the Long family. By then, even if the sacred land goes back on their words, with the help of the sacred beast, you can safely leave Yun City." Sacred beast? Long Jian was extremely excited when he heard the words, sacred beast. Of course, he knew what a sacred beast represented. A sacred beast was comparable to an illusionary divine martial artist, or even more powerful. "Thank you, Senior." Nodding his head, Long Ao took Long Hong and left the Cloud City. When they arrived at the sea, he said straightforwardly, "Long Hong, I'm going to kill a saint beast now and refine it into a corpse slave. At that time, even if I leave, with the help of the corpse slave, the Long family will be safe." Although Long Hong was reluctant, he didn't say much. He nodded and said, "Thank you, Master. You don't have to do this. I'll be back in the future, and I'll still need your help. Master, don't worry. I'll work even harder in my cultivation. The next time I see you, I'll be an illusionary divine martial artist." Long Ao nodded his head approvingly. He realized that Long Hong seemed to have changed. Suddenly, Long Ao took out the Green Destiny Divine Sword and said, "This sword originally belonged to Wang Hao. However, take it as a gift from me. Use it well. I can tell that this Green Destiny Divine Sword is a divine weapon and will be of great help to your cultivation in the future." Long Hong took the Green Destiny Divine Sword from his master's hands. He would be lying if he said that he didn't like it. Long Hong was excited because everyone in Yun City knew about the legend of the Green Hades Divine Sword. It was this divine sword that allowed the Wang family patriarch to be invincible in the world. Long Hong had never thought that he would be able to obtain the Green Destiny Divine Sword one day. Even he couldn't believe it, let alone others. Long Hong knew very well that all of this was given to him by his master. "Master, are you really going out to sea? There's no need for that. Tell me, are there any stronger sacred beasts around Yun City?" "Sacred beast, golden tiger shark. Where is it?" Long Ao was elated. Sacred beasts were different from ordinary spiritual beasts. They weren't easy to find. "Master, according to legends, there's an island less than 1,000 meters away from Yun City. It's called the Spiritual Beast Island, and there are countless spiritual beasts on it. Back then, an elder witnessed a golden tiger shark guarding this island." "A golden tiger shark guarding the gate?" Long Ao was shocked. He knew very well what a sacred beast represented. It was also because of this that he had never thought that a sacred beast would guard the gate. Was this true? Chapter 572. Master, Spiritual Beast Island is only a legend. No one dares to enter because those who enter will never come out alive. Long Hong nodded his head. Long Ao could almost imagine that there must be even more powerful spirit beasts on the Spirit Beast Island. Otherwise, a sacred beast like the golden tiger shark would not be guarding the gate. The 8 realms of the illusionary divine stage were ranked from lowest to highest as the half-sage stage, sage stage, earth sage stage, sky sage stage, sage king stage, sage emperor stage, sage venerable stage, and sage emperor stage. There were 8 levels of holy beasts. In ascending order, they were level 1 holy beast, Level 2 Holy Beast, Level 3 Holy Beast, Level 4 Holy Beast, Level 5 Holy Beast, Level 6 Holy Beast, Level 7 Holy Beast, Level 8 Holy Beast. Longao did not know what level of Holy Beast this golden tiger shark guarding the gate was. The reason was simple. If the golden tiger shark was a Level 1 Holy Beast, there might not be a great Emperor Spiritual Beast on Spiritual Beast Island. However, if the golden tiger shark was a Level 8 Holy Beast, Longao was sure that there would be at least a great Emperor Spiritual Beast on Spiritual Beast Island. Longao did not ask Longhung because he knew that Longhung did not know what level the golden tiger shark was. Go back and cultivate. I will be back in 3 days. Master, I will go with you. Longao waved his hand and said, You are too weak. You will not be of much help. As he spoke, Longao stepped onto the ship that the Long family had already prepared and slowly sailed towards the Spiritual Beast Island. On the entire ship, other than him, there was only one other person left. Spiritual Beast Island was one of the countless islands in the outer sea. Spiritual Beast Island was filled with spiritual beasts. It could be said that it was a paradise for spiritual beasts. No one dared to enter. The boat sailed very quickly. In just half a day, they were already 1,000 meters away from Spiritual Beast Island. Senior Longao, I know. You can leave now. Thank you. The person immediately rowed the boat and left. Longao was not angry at all. No matter what, the legend of Spiritual Beast Island was there. It was normal that no one dared to go near it. From afar, Longao could already see the undulating waves of islands. According to Longao's description of the Spirit Beast Island, Longao recognized the Spirit Beast Island at first glance. When they were about 30 meters away from the Spirit Beast Island, horrifying waves came crashing over. If it wasn't for Longao's timely resistance, the ship would have been destroyed. Golden Tiger Shark. Just as Longhung had said, there was a saint beast, the Golden Tiger Shark, guarding the Spirit Beast Island. A huge shark suddenly appeared not far away at this time. It was as big as the entire ship. Longao had already sensed that this golden tiger shark in front of him was a first-level holy beast. It was also the so-called semi-sage level martial artist. Longao had sensed that this golden tiger shark was a first-level holy beast. Who are you? Leave now, or I'll devour you. The golden tiger shark spoke. Longao was very surprised. Under normal circumstances, even a holy beast could not speak. However, a few spirit beasts could. As for the divine beasts, almost all of them could. Even Long Chong, who had broken through to become a first-grade holy beast, could not speak. After a short moment of surprise, Longao replied, I want to enter Spiritual Beast Island to do something. I hope you can make it convenient for me. In fact, Longao did not fancy the golden tiger shark at all. No matter what, the golden tiger shark was a holy beast in the sea. Even if it could go ashore, it was definitely not as good as a land holy beast. It could be said that the golden tiger shark's strength could be doubled in the sea. However, once it landed, its strength would be limited. As for land holy beasts, if they entered the sea, they would also be limited. This was something that complemented each other. Longao was very afraid of the golden tiger shark. If it was on land, he could easily eliminate the golden tiger shark. But in the sea, Spiritual Beast Island is an important place. Humans are not allowed to enter. Scram. Hearing Longao's words, Longao's expression turned unsightly. It was simply refusing a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Since that was the case, Longao did not continue speaking nonsense. The aura from his body was like a tornado, ruthlessly suppressing the golden tiger shark. The golden tiger shark did not expect the other party to take the initiative to attack. However, as a sea holy beast, the golden tiger shark's strength was obvious. After it reacted, it angrily attacked. Longao did not dare to be careless because the golden tiger shark could borrow the power of the sea. In order to end the battle quickly and enter Spiritual Beast Island as soon as possible, he directly used his self-created martial technique, Sorrow of Heaven and Earth. The horrifying tornado instantly engulfed the sea. The tornado brought along the sea waves like a tsunami, ruthlessly attacking the golden tiger shark like a storm. Longao would not give the golden tiger shark any chance to catch its breath. He immediately took out the dragon seal and ruthlessly shot it at the golden tiger shark. A miserable shriek resounded. Although the dragon seal was not as strong as Xiao Qin's, it was still extremely hard. This attack ruthlessly smashed the golden tiger shark's head, creating a bloody hole. Long Ao rejoiced in his heart. He did not hesitate and immediately followed up with another attack, smashing again and again. Human, you. Without waiting for the golden tiger shark to speak, Long Ao had already ruthlessly smashed out once again. Borrowing the might of the absolute sorrow of the heavens and earth, as well as the suppression of the imposing manner, the dragon seal in Long Ao's hand was practically 100% hit. In just a few minutes, the golden tiger shark was smashed at least a few hundred times. Its entire body was filled with bloody holes. Its blood dyed the sea red. It was a ghastly sight. Seeing the golden tiger shark fleeing, Long Ao did not give chase. With his strength, it was impossible for him to stand on the surface of the sea unless he flew. However, flying in the sea, who knew what he would encounter? However, there were less than 30 meters left. Long Ao prepared to fly over. Walking in the air, Long Ao's figure quickly shot towards Spirit Beast Island. Spirit Beast Island. Long Ao looked around. There was a dense forest everywhere. Ancient trees covered the sky, giving people a very oppressive feeling. Master, you have to be careful. The treasure aura you sensed from the primal chaos stone tablet is here. Hearing Long Fu's words, Long Ao was first cold. Then, he was pleasantly surprised. His luck was too good. He only planned to come to Spirit Beast Island to kill a few saint beasts and refine them into corpse slaves to protect the Long family. But the result was, Long Ao never thought that the treasure aura he sensed from the primal chaos stone tablet would be here. Long Ao could imagine that a treasure that could resonate with the primal chaos stone tablet was definitely the strongest divine tool in the world. Could it be another primal chaos stone tablet? But one had to know that there were a total of 12 primal chaos stone tablets in the world. He had only obtained one of them. There were still 11 primal chaos stone tablets whose whereabouts were unknown. Perhaps they had already been obtained by others. If he could obtain a second primal chaos stone tablet, just thinking about it made him excited. Chapter 573. He seemed to be able to guess what Long Ao was thinking. Long Fu said, Master, the treasure on Spirit Beast Island shouldn't be the primal chaos stone tablet. Of course I know. Long Fu, can you sense the treasure on Spirit Beast Island? Shaking his head, Long Fu said, Master, this treasure is enveloped by a powerful energy. I can't sense it at all. Then can you sense its exact location? I can't sense it. However, Master, you can try to sense the primal chaos stone tablet and find this treasure. Long Ao didn't continue asking because Long Fu couldn't sense the treasure's aura. Then, there was only one possibility. This treasure was too powerful. The more it was like this, the more Long Ao looked forward to it. However, Long Ao didn't immediately search for the treasure. Instead, he prepared to kill the sacred beast and refine it into a corpse slave. Long Ao had already thought about it. He had to return to 9 provinces as soon as possible. The longer he delayed, the more worried Long Ao became, especially for the safety of his family and sect. Jade-eyed Fire Lion. Seeing the fiery red figure flash by, Long Ao was overjoyed. Long Ao had some understanding of the blue-eyed Fire Lion. If this kind of spirit beast was placed in the 9 prefectures, it would definitely be an extremely rare species. Long Ao had never thought that he would encounter a blue-eyed Fire Lion in this place. Not letting go of this opportunity, Long Ao immediately chased after it. With Long Ao's speed, he obviously couldn't catch up to the jade-eyed Fire Lion. In the end, he had no choice but to use spatial teleportation. After 2 spatial teleportations, Long Ao had already caught up to the jade-eyed Fire Lion. Without a doubt, Long Ao immediately attacked. Blood-drinking saber light fiercely chopped out. In the blink of an eye, Longao and the jade-eyed fire lion were already engaged in a fierce battle. They went back and forth, fighting to the death. Originally, Longao thought that killing the jade-eyed fire lion was a sure thing. However, after the real battle, Longao shockingly discovered that the jade-eyed fire lion's strength exceeded his imagination. Innate ability, Dragon Roar. At the same time, a dragon shadow appeared behind Longao. Then, the blue-eyed fire lion was locked in place, and time began to flow backward. Longao didn't give up this rare opportunity. He punched the blue-eyed fire lion's head. When the divine dragon arm smashed down, the blue-eyed fire lion was directly smashed to death. He heaved a long sigh of relief. Longao knew very well that if it weren't for his innate ability, Dragon Roar, it wouldn't have been easy to kill the blue-eyed fire lion. He sent the blue-eyed fire lion's corpse and soul to Long Fu. Before coming here, Longao had already told Long Fu that no matter what, he had to refine the sacred beast corpse slave as fast as possible. Only then could he leave with a peace of mind. In fact, Longao knew very well that the blood pool was different now. Before the primordial divine dragon died, it had divided its strength into two. One was for himself, and the other was for Long Chong. As for the dragon blood, it had all flowed into the blood pool. In other words, most of the blood in the blood pool belonged to the primordial divine dragon. As for what the blood pool was, Longao still didn't know. Long Fu also didn't say. Since the blue-eyed fire lion was here, then he might as well kill a few more sacred beasts. After all, the more sacred beast corpse slaves he had, the more assured the Long family's safety would be. At this time, Longao's expression changed. This was because he could feel the chaos stone tablet in his dantian begin to stir again. Longao stood there without moving. This was because he knew that once the chaos stone tablet appeared, he would still be frozen. Since that was the case, why should he waste any more time? But Longao waited for several minutes, and the chaos stone tablet still didn't appear. This caused Longao to feel a headache. Just what did the chaos stone tablet want? Longao quietly sensed the chaos stone tablet in his dantian. But at this moment, the chaos stone tablet was quietly lying in his dantian, not moving at all. It didn't show any signs of wanting to come out. What the hell was the chaos stone tablet doing? The chaos stone tablet completely confused Longao. He didn't know what the chaos stone tablet was trying to do. But since the chaos stone tablet didn't move, he had more important things to do. He immediately began to search for other sacred beasts. Spirit Beast Island was boundless. Although there were spirit beasts, sacred beasts were also rare. Most of them were spirit beasts. Just as Longao was searching for sacred beasts with all his might, he suddenly let out a painful roar. Before Longao could react, he fainted. Longao had just fainted when the Chaos Stone Tablet suddenly appeared. The small stone tablet instantly expanded 100 times, covering Longao. At this time, a trace of energy appeared from the Chaos Stone Tablet, silently entering Longao's body, within the Dragon Seal space. Although he didn't go out, Long Fu obviously knew what was happening. His face finally had some joy. He said to himself, I really didn't expect that the Chaos Stone Tablet would allow Master to sense Master. Fusing with the Chaos Stone Tablet, Master's cultivation speed will greatly increase. 10 years is enough. 10 years. If Long Fu's words were heard by others, who knew if they would be scared silly? From a half-step sacred martial artist to divine Tao, even a super genius would need 100 years, or even several hundred years. But Longao only needed 10 years. What kind of concept was this? For Longao to be recognized by the Chaos Stone Tablet, he could be considered extremely lucky. But it had to be known that Longao sensing the Chaos Stone Tablet and the Chaos Stone Tablet recognizing Longao were two completely different matters. The meaning was also different. The Chaos Stone Tablet had voluntarily chosen to recognize Longao. Then, when Longao fused with it, it would be much easier. This was something that Longao had never imagined. Longao quietly lay on the ground, his legs tightly shut. The Chaos Stone Tablet emitted a trace of energy that continuously entered Longao's body. Unknowingly, Many spirit beasts had gathered around. There were even sacred beasts. But without exception, all the spirit beasts and sacred beasts were frozen in place by the Chaos Stone Tablet. They couldn't move at all. They could only stare in horror, not knowing what was happening. The Chaos Stone Tablet recognized Longao. This continued for around 2 hours. Longao slowly opened his eyes and looked around suspiciously. Before Longao could figure out what had just happened, he was given a fright. Turning around, Longao stood up from the ground and vigilantly looked around. Longao was surprised. This was because he discovered that all the spirits around him, including the sacred beasts, seemed to be a bit dumb. It was as if they had been beaten into idiots. What had just happened? But Longao didn't give up on this opportunity. He didn't care about the ordinary spirit beasts. Longao shot towards the 2 remaining sacred beasts. He effortlessly killed them and sent their corpses and souls into the dragon seal space. Longao roughly decided that if there was a chance and his luck was good, he would refine 10 sacred beast corpse slaves for the Long family. This way, even a holy land wouldn't dare to provoke the Long family. Chapter 574. After successfully killing the 3 saint beasts, Longao did not relax at all. Longao did not know that the primal Chaos Stone Tablet had recognized him as its master. Following that, Longao focused on killing saint beasts. In a short 3 days, he had successfully killed stone saint beasts. However, they were all level 1 saint beasts. Even so, Longao was still satisfied. Because the Long family had stone saint beast corpse slaves, even the Holy Lands would be wary of them. After dealing with the Saint Beast corpse slaves, Longao did not immediately leave Spirit Beast Mountain. Instead, he prepared to search for this so-called treasure. What a joke. To be able to activate the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, one could easily guess what this treasure was. Longao held an attitude of trying to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. His expression changed slightly. Longao thought that he was hallucinating. After sensing it again, he was pleasantly surprised to find that for some unknown reason, he seemed to be able to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet's response. Since this was the case, Longao did not dare to be careless. He immediately began to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Previously, the primordial divine dragon had said that the 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets were the strongest existences in the world. If he wanted to become a peerless expert, he had to first sense the supreme martial skills within the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, what disappointed Longao was that although he could sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, he could not sense the martial skills within. There was no other way. Longao also knew that wanting to sense a martial skill was not something that could be done overnight. Longao continued to comprehend quietly, hoping that he would be able to comprehend some clues from the Chaos Stone Tablet. As expected, Longao quietly sensed. From the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, he sensed a trace of aura. It was to the left. As for the specific location, he did not know. His heart was filled with joy. Longao immediately sensed the direction and immediately headed towards the left. In front of a huge stone wall. It's here. Longao had been trying to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. At this point, the aura of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was very strong. Longao was very clear that the so-called treasure was definitely below the stone wall. Following that, Longao started searching and found a passageway before long. Overjoyed, Longao carefully entered the tunnel and slowly walked toward it. Outside the passageway was a huge cave. The entire cave was obviously a natural type. Longao had just stepped into the cave when he immediately opened his eyes wide with an expression of disbelief. A huge dragon. 5-clawed golden dragon. It turned out that there was a huge skeleton of a 5-clawed golden dragon in the middle of the cave. Even though it was just a skeleton, the aura it emitted was enough to destroy everything. Of course, Longao knew about the 5-clawed golden dragon. As one of the most powerful races of the dragon clan, the 5-clawed golden dragon was incomparably powerful. There had even been a dragon god. One could imagine what the 5-clawed golden dragon represented. Looking at the skeleton in front of him, Longao suddenly realized something. Until now, he still didn't know what race Longchang was. The five-clawed golden dragon was the most powerful dragon of the dragon clan in the world. Longao found it hard to imagine why the skeleton of a five-clawed golden dragon would appear in this cave. Not daring to be careless, Longao carefully looked around. Because Longao didn't dare to imagine what kind of place this cave was. Since there was a skeleton of a five-clawed golden dragon, it seemed to know something. Inside the dragon seal space. Long Fu, can you sense what kind of danger is in this cave? Longao trusted Long Fu, but Long Fu's expression was slightly grave. This was the first time such a situation had happened to Long Fu. Because of this, Longao felt that something was wrong. Master, you should leave this place quickly. With your current strength, it's impossible to obtain the things here. Why is that? The more Long Fu acted like this, the more curious Longao was. Master, the five-clawed golden dragon you just saw was second only to the old master, but it died here. Do you know why? Needless to say, Longao naturally knew. It wanted to seize the treasures here and died here. Master, I can tell you this. If this five-clawed golden dragon didn't die, then once it broke through, it would be comparable to the old master. But because it found this place, it unfortunately fell. Longao was shocked. He never thought that the five-clawed golden dragon would be so powerful. Longao naturally knew the strength of the primordial divine dragon. Even a five-clawed golden dragon died here. Longao muttered in his heart. Long Fu, tell me the truth. Long Fu naturally knew his master's character very well. Long Fu thought for a moment and finally said, Master, since you want to know, then I'll tell you. But you have to promise me that no matter what happens, you are not allowed to touch the things here. Do you understand? Seeing Long Fu speak so solemnly, Longao nodded and said, I know. Master, I believe you should know that the heavenly Tao, as the strongest martial artist in the world, possesses the power of the source energy. Longao didn't know what Long Fu meant. What kind of power did the heavenly Tao have? What does that have to do with you? Could it be that there was source energy in this cave? Longao wasn't a fool. In fact, he was very smart. He instantly understood the meaning of Long Fu's words. Long Fu nodded and said, Master, I believe you have already guessed it. That's right, there is source energy here. Chapter 575. This was Longao's personality. Master. Waving his hand, Longao said with a firm expression, Long Fu, since I've already agreed to avenge the primordial divine dragon, I have to arm myself. Therefore, I have to obtain the origin energy. Before Long Fu could speak, Longao continued, I believe you should know about the primordial divine dragon and Long Tian. If they had fused with the origin energy, it's really hard to say who would have won the battle back then. Long Fu seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he could only sigh. This was because his master was right. The reason why the heavenly Tao was the number one person in the world was because it had fused with the origin energy. The heavenly Tao was afraid that others would fuse with the origin energy and surpass him in strength. Therefore, he used his clone to protect the origin energy and cut off everyone's chances of fusing with the origin energy. There's no need to say more about the heavenly Tao's strength. If I can't fuse with the origin energy, I won't be able to take revenge. Master, I know what you mean, but the heavenly Tao's clone is guarding this place. Once you touch the origin energy, the heavenly Tao will immediately know. Even if we have a way to restrain the clone, can you fight against the heavenly Tao? Longao did not speak and chose to remain silent. In his mind, he thought of countless possibilities. The worst was to be killed by the heavenly Tao's clone or the heavenly Tao himself. However, Longao knew that he still had a 1% chance. Once he succeeded in obtaining the origin energy, he would have the capital to grow and fight against the heavenly Tao. Continue? Give up? For a moment, Longao did not know how to choose. After all, opportunities and dangers coexisted. All along, Longao did not believe that a pie would fall from the sky. Long Fu, I want to know where the origin energy is. Master, have you really decided? You know my character. Nodding, although Long Fu was very worried about his master, he was full of praise. He said, "Master, the origin energy is in the cave. As long as you can break through the space, you can obtain the origin energy." Longao was not worried about this at all because the blood-sucking broadsword was enough to split open space. "Master, since you want to take the risk, we have to make a long-term plan. Long Fu, do you have a way?" "Master, you saw the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon just now. We can use the skeleton to lure away the heavenly Tao avatar. Once you obtain the origin energy, you must leave this place as quickly as possible. If you are careless, the heavenly Tao will descend. Master, it will be very difficult for you to leave." Regarding this point, Longao naturally knew it clearly. Longao didn't dwell on these issues, because success depended on luck as well as ability. "Long Fu, I'm very curious about something. Once I break open the space, will I directly devour the origin energy, or will I do something else?" "You can't devour it directly. Master, with your current physical body and strength, you can't devour the power of origin. Otherwise, there's only one outcome. You'll explode and die." "Then what should I do?" "Master, how about this? In a moment, I will arrange an aura in your dantian. As long as you can guide the origin energy into your dantian, I have a way to temporarily trap it. As for what will happen in the future, we'll talk about it after we've settled it." "Okay." Long Ao left the dragon seal space and looked at the skeleton of the five-clawed golden dragon in front of him. According to Long Fu, the soul of the five-clawed golden dragon had already fallen. However, this body was incomparably powerful. As long as he could drive this five-clawed golden dragon and refine it into a corpse demon, its power would be unimaginable. However, he had to use the five-clawed golden dragon to lure away the heavenly Tao avatar. Only then would he have a chance to obtain the origin energy. In the remaining time, Long Fu refined the five-clawed golden dragon into a corpse demon, while Long Ao cultivated quietly. As long as Long Fu succeeded, it would be time for him to make a move. After 3 whole days, Long Fu barely managed to refine it. Furthermore, he even used the soul of a saint beast. After looking deeply at the cave, Long Ao hid. At this moment, the five-clawed golden dragon that had fallen suddenly moved and began to attack the space in the cave. The soul of the five-clawed golden dragon wasn't strong, but its body was enough to contend against the defense of any giant dragon. The sudden collision of the five-clawed golden dragon caused a cry of surprise. Following that, a figure in black suddenly appeared in the cave. It was the heavenly Tao avatar. The heavenly Tao had many avatars that guarded various origin lands. Every avatar of the heavenly Tao was incomparably powerful. According to the heavenly Tao himself, every avatar of the heavenly Tao was comparable to an existence like Long Tian. What kind of concept was this? Although the heavenly Tao's words were a bit exaggerated, from another perspective, it could be seen that every avatar of the heavenly Tao was incomparably powerful. At the very least, they could kill the five-clawed golden dragon. Otherwise, the heavenly Tao avatar wouldn't be able to guard this origin lands. Looking at the five-clawed golden dragon that was constantly attacking the surrounding space, the heavenly Tao avatar's expression was very cold. He snorted coldly. Following that, the heavenly Tao avatar suddenly made a move and forcefully suppressed the five-clawed golden dragon. But at this time, the five-clawed golden dragon didn't continue to attack. Instead, it shot towards the tunnel and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. The heavenly Tao avatar seemed to be a little surprised. He didn't expect that the fallen five-clawed golden dragon would suddenly attack the surroundings. However, the five-clawed golden dragon was placed here by his master. The avatar didn't dare to hesitate at all. Just as the heavenly Tao avatar left, Long Ao's figure suddenly appeared. There was no time to be surprised. Seizing this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Long Ao's blood-sucking broadsword had already slashed down fiercely. This was Long Ao's strongest attack. All the strength in his body had been integrated into this broadsword. It was an earth-shattering broadsword. Long Ao tried his best to use this broadsword because he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to break open the space. If that was the case, he wouldn't have a second chance at all. The reason was very simple. Once his broadsword couldn't break open the space, the heavenly Tao would instantly descend. At that time, not to mention obtaining the origin energy, whether he could leave or not would be the biggest problem. It was precisely because of this that Longao used the strongest attack in his life. In an instant, the surrounding space shattered and traces of terrifying space cracks appeared. Longao suddenly discovered that the space cracks were completely different from usual. There seemed to be something more. Could this be the so-called origin energy? Longao didn't dare to touch it easily because he was very clear about what the space cracks meant. Not to mention him, even the supreme Tao martial artists didn't dare to touch the space cracks. The space cracks were the most terrifying force in the world. It was even above thunder and lightning. It could devour everything, including the supreme Tao martial artists. Chapter 576. Longao knew very well that time was of the essence. If he relaxed even a little, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Tian Dao could descend at any time. Thinking of this, Longao made his move without hesitation and started to devour the origin energy in the spatial crack. According to what Long Fu said, as long as he devoured a little origin energy, once he reached a certain height in the future, he would be able to reproduce an endless amount of origin energy. In just a few seconds, Longao had finished devouring, but his body was nearly torn apart by the spatial crack. However, with the desolate divine body, Longao wasn't devoured by the spatial crack. Master, leave quickly. Tian Dao is about to descend. Shocked, Longao endured the pain coming from his body. He didn't dare to be negligent at all. Teleport and instantly left the cave. This time, Longao didn't have any misgivings and used teleport 10 times consecutively. When he left the stone wall, he immediately hid. Longao knew very well that according to Tian Dao's terrifying strength, if he chose to leave Spiritual Beast Island now, he would definitely be captured by Tian Dao. The only way was to hide. This way, he might be able to escape Tian Dao's pursuit. Sky Martial Continent, at the peak of a mountain, Tian Dao, who was sitting on the ground with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes and shot out 2 cold rays of light. Immediately after, Tian Dao used the teleportation array and appeared in the cave. Ever since Tian Dao stepped onto the peak of martial arts, he had sealed all the origin lands and set up a teleportation array. This way, if there was any problem with the origin lands, he could rush over immediately. In the cave, Tian Dao's clone returned with the 5-clawed golden dragon's corpse. Long Fu was guarding against this move. The soul of the corpse slave that he refined this time had already disappeared, so even Tian Dao couldn't sense anything. Master. Slap. Before the clone could speak, a slap landed on his face. Tian Dao's expression was extremely gloomy. No matter what, this person had snatched away the origin energy. Once he matured in the future, he would definitely become a formidable opponent. No one was allowed to touch the land of origin. Over countless years, countless people had found the land of origin, but they were all wiped out by the heavenly Tao. Only a man and a dragon from ancient times had obtained the power of origin, but they were still killed by the heavenly Tao in the end. The man and dragon were none other than Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon. What the hell happened? Master, I don't know. The 5-clawed golden dragon suddenly attacked the space and left. I chased after it. It had been planned for a long time. Of course, the heavenly Tao knew that the 5-clawed golden dragon was already dead. It was impossible for it to be reborn and attack the cave. This meant that someone had done it on purpose. Their goal was to seize the origin energy. Who was it? The heavenly Tao could not figure out who it was that could actually use the fallen 5-clawed golden dragon to seize the origin power. Guard this place well. Tian Dao's figure instantly disappeared. Tian Dao had already guessed that since this person could do this, his strength should be very strong. Could it be the second Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon? On the Spirit Beast Island, Tian Dao's figure had just appeared when his divine soul aura was released in an overwhelming manner. It instantly enveloped the entire Spirit Beast Island and even the entire sea. This was the heavenly Tao. This was the strength of the heavenly Tao. Just his aura alone could envelop the entire sea. In the entire world, other than the heavenly Tao, how many people could do it? Longao, who was hiding in a cave, suddenly felt a terrifying aura sweeping across his body. His heart skipped a beat. Longao naturally knew what this aura represented. What terrifying strength! This was the first time Longao felt the strength of the heavenly Tao. Just the aura alone was enough to kill him. Longao was very clear that if it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he believed that with his strength, he wouldn't be able to escape the shroud of the heavenly Tao's aura. At that time, only death would await him. He didn't dare to have the slightest fluctuation or even breathe because the heavenly Tao's strength was too strong. If he wasn't careful, he would be discovered by the heavenly Tao. Above the Spirit Beast Island, the heavenly Tao stood quietly in midair and released his aura with a gloomy face. Over and over again, a steady stream of aura shrouded him, trying to sense the other party's aura in the shortest time possible. The heavenly Tao cursed fiercely. If he knew this would happen, he would have set up his own aura shield. In that case, countless people would be blocked outside without a chance. However, the heavenly Tao had his own thoughts. The reason was simple. Once he set up an aura shield in these source lands, ordinary martial artists would be able to withstand it. If he encountered a martial artist like Long Tian, he wouldn't be discovered, but with an aura shield, he would attract the attention of experts. There were good and bad. No matter what, the heavenly Tao wouldn't allow anyone to fuse with the power of origin. In this world, only he could possess the power of origin. No matter who it was, if they dared to touch the power of origin, they would be killed without mercy. Just like Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon back then. Until now, the heavenly Tao still couldn't figure out who was so reckless as to provoke the lion and pull a tooth out of the tiger's mouth. I know you're here. Get out here. Idiot. Hearing the heavenly Tao's angry voice, Long Ao cursed in his heart. There were countless heavenly Taos. The heavenly Tao didn't sense his existence just now. Now it seemed that the heavenly Tao couldn't find him at all. As long as he didn't go out, he would be completely safe this time. Within the Dragon Seal space. Master, you've successfully obtained the power of origin this time. Don't be reckless like the two old masters. In the end, not only did you fail at the last step, you might even lose your life. Nodding his head, Long Ao knew what Long Fu meant. In the past, Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon were confident and arrogant. They thought that with their combined strength, they could defeat the heavenly Tao. Long Ao could imagine that if Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon held back and fused with the power of origin, they would achieve the strength of the heavenly Tao. If that was the case, it was hard to say who would win. However, it was already too late. Long Ao naturally wouldn't do such a stupid thing because he knew that with his current strength, he couldn't fuse with the power of origin. If he tried to forcefully fuse with it, he would only explode and die. Therefore, if he wanted to fuse with the power of origin, he first had to break through to the realm of Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon. No one knew how long this process would take, and during this time, Long Ao had already decided that he wouldn't be discovered by the heavenly Tao. He wouldn't walk the same path as Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon. Master, why don't I take advantage of this time to tell you something? In any case, the heavenly Tao definitely won't leave in a short time. If it doesn't find you, the heavenly Tao will definitely not let this matter rest. Chapter 577. Of course, Long Ao knew what Long Fu had said. This time, he had obtained the power of the origin, so how could the heavenly axiom let it go? Long Fu had just said that there was only one person in the world who had the power of the origin, and that person was the heavenly axiom. Not to mention the heavenly axiom, no matter who it was, they would not easily let others have the power of the origin. The reason why the heavenly axiom could become the number one person in the world was nothing more than the integration of the power of the origin. If someone else also integrated the power of the origin, the legend of the number one person in the heavenly axiom would be broken. Long Fu, what's the matter? Long Ao was very curious. He did not know what Long Fu wanted to say to him at this time. Master, now that you have obtained the power of the origin, I will temporarily seal it for you. In the future, when you break through the old master's realm, I will help you reach the heavenly axiom realm in one fell swoop. At that time, you will be the only super existence in the world who can contend with the heavenly axiom. Long Ao did not have the slightest bit of excitement. Long Ao was not a 3-year-old child. Of course, he knew how dangerous this process was. Even if he was lucky enough to reach that height in the end, no one knew who would live and who would die in the battle with the heavenly axiom. Therefore, no matter what, this path was extremely difficult and full of difficulties. Master, I know that you are very unwilling, but this is your life. In fact, you can think about it this way. If the old master had not chosen you, you would not be where you are today. Long Ao still did not speak. He wanted to know what Long Fu wanted to say. Long Fu had thought about what Long Ao had said countless times. All along, Long Ao had thought that he was just a lucky person. If it were not for his good luck and the desolate sacred body, he believed that the primordial divine dragon would not have chosen him. In addition, Long Ao had always thought that he was just a chess piece of the primordial divine dragon. Long Ao could even imagine that if there came a day when he was useless to the primordial divine dragon, then the primordial divine dragon would not hesitate to kick him out. In the end, if he wanted to get rid of this chess piece situation, he had to have great strength. Even if the primordial divine dragon had fallen, Long Ao knew that unless he could break through the height of the heavenly axiom, Long Fu could replace him at any time. In the current situation, Long Fu was the one deciding whether or not he was a chess piece, not the one making the decision. Long Ao didn't like this situation, but there was nothing he could do. At the very least, he didn't have the slightest ability to resist. Master, according to your cultivation speed, with the help of the Chaos Stone tablet, I believe you will be able to reach the old master's level in at most 10 years. At that time, I will bring you to a place. So now, I want to tell you something. Long Ao scolded fiercely in his heart. Long Ao originally thought that Long Fu had already said it, but he didn't expect that after saying so much, Long Fu still hadn't started. It was really painful to the extreme. 10 years. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't happy. However, Long Ao didn't get happy too early because he knew that the process would be dangerous. The result would be exciting, but everything would be nonsense until the end was reached. Master, what I want to tell you is actually very simple. With your cultivation speed, I can say that you will be able to officially break through to the Supreme Tao realm in 3 years and 5 years at most. However, it will be very, very difficult for you to reach Old Master's level. Long Fu, just say what you want to say. There is no need to beat around the bush. All right, Master. I want you to enter the reincarnation path and break through to the Supreme Tao realm. Although he had guessed countless possibilities, Long Ao had never imagined that this would be what Long Fu wanted to say. Long Ao did not answer immediately. Instead, he chose to lower his head and ponder. Because the divine soul had entered the path of reincarnation, the chances of a successful rebirth were very, very small. If he was not careful, he would fall into eternal damnation. How could he not know what Long Fu meant? Long Ao wanted him to quickly improve his strength in the midst of life and death. Once the reincarnation path was successful, not only could he reach the peak of his previous life, but he could also break through to a higher realm. Long Fu, I want to ask you something. Did Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon enter the reincarnation path before? The primordial divine dragon didn't, but Long Tian entered it 9 times. 9 reincarnation path created the old master's super strength, but he was still 1 step away. 9 reincarnations? Hearing Long Fu's words, Long Ao didn't have the slightest doubt. However, he was extremely shocked. Of course, he knew what 9 reincarnations meant. Not to mention 9 reincarnations, even 1 reincarnation path was extremely dangerous. Long Ao found it hard to imagine how Long Tian did it. Master, you don't know. The Dragon Clan is different from warriors. The old master went through 9 reincarnations, and the 2 old masters improved together. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous if the 2 old masters entered the reincarnation path at the same time. Nodding, Longao already understood what Long Fu meant. It was very simple. Every time Long Tian entered the reincarnation path, the primordial divine dragon would choose to find Long Tian's reincarnation and guard him. This way, Long Tian would enter the reincarnation path safely. Even so, Long Tian could go through 9 reincarnations. He was still an unsurpassable existence. Master, I believe you should know that once a warrior of the divine path enters the reincarnation path, the more successful reincarnations they have, the more powerful they become. The 2 old masters went through 9 reincarnations and reached the peak of the martial path, but in the end, they didn't succeed in integrating the power of the origin. 9 reincarnations, the number of 9 nines. Longao finally knew what Long Fu wanted him to do. Enter the reincarnation path, the number of 9 nines, and reach the peak of the martial path after 9 reincarnations. Master, although you have the desolate sacred body and your cultivation speed is far faster than others, to reach the old master's height, I can only say one word. It is difficult. Therefore, you must enter the reincarnation path and go through reincarnation. In this way, I believe that Master can reach the old master's height in the shortest time possible. I also need to go through 9 reincarnations? At least 9 reincarnations. The old master's talent was not below yours. Moreover, the old master had someone to protect him. Nodding, Longao did not immediately agree. Instead, he said, Long Fu, let's talk about this in the future. Long Fu did not continue because he also knew that this was indeed a little cruel. After all, the reincarnation path was full of danger, and there were as many as 9 reincarnations. Because of this, Long Fu did not blame his master. He would give his master time to consider. Even if his master did not agree, he would just have to wait a few more decades. Chapter 578. He hid quietly in the cave. Long Ao's mind was filled with the Tao of reincarnation. 9 reincarnations, 9 by 9. Long Ao never expected Long Tian to reincarnate 9 times. He had to admit that Long Tian's courage was really admirable. Here it comes again. Lin Fan cursed in his heart. After so long, Tian Dao still hadn't left. His aura was still shrouding the area. As long as there was a slight fluctuation, Tian Dao would definitely notice it immediately. Tian Dao and Long Ao. At this moment, the 2 of them were obviously competing in patience. Could it be that this person has already left? Standing in midair, Tian Dao's aura shrouded the spirit beasts and even the entire outer sea. However, after such a long time, he still couldn't sense any aura of the origin source. Tian Dao had full confidence that no matter who it was, as long as they took away the origin source's aura, he would be able to sense it immediately no matter how hidden it was. But now, Tian Dao had already thought about it. The other party's strength was far beyond his knowledge. Even if he wasn't as strong as Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon, he believed that he wouldn't be too far off. Who could it be? In Tian Dao's mind, he thought about all the strongest people in the world, but he still couldn't figure it out. At this moment, Tian Dao's face was extremely gloomy. At this moment, Tian Dao was really afraid. He wasn't afraid of the strong coming to challenge him, but he was afraid that someone would take away the origin source. Although it wasn't an easy task to fuse with the origin source, it was better to be safe than sorry. Tian Dao wouldn't give up. Even if there was only a 1 in 10,000 chance, Tian Dao would strangle it in the cradle. However, Tian Dao didn't continue to stay on Spirit Beast Island because he had full confidence in his strength. He had already scanned the area more than 100 times. It seemed like this person had really left, although Tian Dao didn't know how this person left. After thinking about it, Tian Dao could only think of one possibility, and that was the teleportation array. This person left Spirit Beast Island with the help of the teleportation array. Otherwise, no one in the world could escape his senses. In the end, Tian Dao left Spirit Beast Island, but he didn't choose to give up. Even if there was a slight chance the heavenly Tao would not give up. At this moment, the heavenly Tao was extremely anxious. It was prepared to find the strongest people in the world other than itself. If it was really done by those people, the heavenly Tao would not let a single one of them off. Sensing that the aura of the heavenly Tao had already disappeared, Longao still did not dare to make the slightest movement. No one knew whether the heavenly Tao had left or not. As expected, 3 minutes later, the aura of the heavenly Tao shrouded the area once again. It paused for a few minutes before gradually disappearing. However, Longao still did not come out. 3 minutes later, the aura of the heavenly Tao enveloped him again. It went back and forth 2 or 3 times. The heavenly Tao seemed to be somewhat unwilling. It was not until the 3rd time that the heavenly Tao finally left completely. At this moment, Longao finally let out a sigh of relief and slowly walked out of the cave. Longao knew that it was fortunate that he wasn't discovered by the heavenly Tao this time. If it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he believed that he would have been officially obliterated by the heavenly Tao. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. No matter what, the heavenly Tao was the strongest martial artist in the world. Even if Long Tian and the primordial divine dragon joined forces, they still couldn't resist the heavenly Tao. Master, although the heavenly Tao has already left Spirit Beast Island, it will definitely be paying attention to the outer seas at all times. Therefore, it's best that you don't leave Spirit Beast Island for the time being. I understand. However, I plan to take advantage of this period of time to go back again. Longao's words gave Long Fu a fright. He didn't know what was wrong with his master. It wasn't easy for him to escape the aura of the heavenly Tao. Was he going to go back and court death? Of course, Long Fu knew what Longao meant. He said worriedly, Master, even if the heavenly Tao doesn't appear again, just the clone of the heavenly Tao is enough to kill you. Although the skeleton of the 5-clawed golden dragon is important, there's no need to lose your life for it. Longao also knew about Long Fu's worries. However, Longao was such a person. Even though he knew that it was dangerous, he still wanted to do it. As the saying goes, knowing that there is a tiger in the mountain, you still go to the tiger mountain. Long Fu, you've said it just now. Once the skeleton of the 5-clawed golden dragon fuses with the spirit, it won't have a problem defending against an illusionary divine martial artist. If I can refine a 5-clawed golden dragon corpse for the sect will have more confidence. Master, have you really decided? I know what to do. Long Fu, just hurry up and refine the corpse. Hearing this, Long Fu didn't continue speaking. He knew his master's character too well. Once he had decided on something, it would be hard for him to change his mind. Longao didn't return to the cave immediately. He knew that the clone of the heavenly Tao had just failed and was now fully focused. If he returned now, he would be courting death. Therefore, Longao was waiting. He was waiting for the clone of the heavenly Tao to relax. If that was the case, his chances of success would be greatly increased. At this moment, Longao suddenly felt that Long Chong was calling for him. Although Long Chong couldn't speak, as partners, Longao could understand what Long Chong was saying. After hearing Long Chong's words, Longao was very surprised. Longao never thought that the divine pill of the 5-clawed golden dragon wouldn't be taken away by the heavenly Tao. Although he didn't know why the heavenly Tao didn't seize the divine pill of the 5-clawed golden dragon, the meaning that Long Chong just conveyed to him was very simple. That was, Long Chong needed this divine pill. Longao was very clear what the divine pill of the 5-clawed golden dragon meant to Long Chong. Just now, he only wanted to obtain the corpse of the 5-clawed golden dragon. Now, it seemed that no matter what difficulties he encountered, no matter what happened, he had to help Long Chong obtain this divine pill. Long Fu had already said that this 5-clawed golden dragon was very powerful, second only to the primordial divine dragon. If that was the case, the 5-clawed golden dragon's divine pill was also the most terrifying existence in the world. Once Long Chong obtained it, he believed that it would be of great help to Long Chong's cultivation. Longao didn't tell Long Fu about this. Longao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately found a quiet place and sat quietly on the ground to cultivate. This was because he had to be fully prepared. No one knew what kind of difficulties he would encounter when he returned to the cave. The heavenly Tao avatar was incomparably powerful. Even if his strength couldn't contend against the primordial divine dragon, he believed that there wasn't much difference between him and the five-clawed golden dragon. He might even surpass it. Inside the cave, the heavenly Tao avatar returned the five-clawed golden dragon to its original place. The dragon clan didn't know that the heavenly Tao had killed the five-clawed golden dragon. Otherwise, who knew what the dragon clan would do? The heavenly Tao avatar knew that he had made a huge mistake, so the following days were especially strict. However, the heavenly Tao avatar was too confident. He believed that the previous mistake was just an accident. This kind of accident would definitely not happen a second time. Chapter 579. Somewhere in the Sky Martial continent, the entire cave was filled with intense spiritual qi. Yuan had used this place to officially break through to the Saint Emperor realm in just a year. She was working hard towards the next realm. In Yuan's heart, it wasn't important whether she could break through to the Supreme Tao stage. What was important was whether she could be together with Longao. Together forever. Master, you're here. The black-clothed old lady walked in slowly. Although she looked like a lonely old lady, no one in the entire sect dared to provoke her. In the beginning, Yuan did not know what Master's strength was at all. Until some time ago, Yuan finally knew that this master of hers was actually a powerful divine Tao martial artist. Yuan, your cultivation speed is still a little slow. With this kind of physique and the sect's full support in nurturing you, you should have broken through to the great Emperor realm under normal circumstances. She wanted to cry and laugh in her heart. Her cultivation speed was still not fast enough. Yuan was very clear that her cultivation speed was a supreme existence in her family or in the entire Scarlet Fire town. However, this cultivation speed was still too slow in front of her master. Master, what should I do? She was extremely anxious because according to her master, she had to break through to the Supreme Tao stage. At the very least, she had to be a titled Great Emperor before she could see her beloved. According to her current cultivation speed, she would need at least 3 years to break through to the titled Great Emperor realm. As for the Supreme Tao stage, it was still unknown. If her master had a good way to increase her cultivation speed, that would be great. Yes, Yuan, I need you to break through to the Supreme Tao stage as fast as possible. In order to be able to see your beloved as soon as possible, I've decided to bring you to a place. Without waiting for Yuan to speak, the black-clothed old lady continued, Yuan, I have to remind you that this place is very dangerous. It can be said that you have a slim chance of survival. However, as long as you can survive and come out smoothly, I can guarantee that your cultivation will break through to the Great Emperor realm at the very least. The 10 realms of the Great Emperor realm were divided into red grade Great Emperor, orange grade Great Emperor, yellow grade Great Emperor, green grade Great Emperor, cyan grade Great Emperor, blue grade Great Emperor, purple grade Great Emperor, black grade Great Emperor, white grade Great Emperor, and gold grade Great Emperor. Above the gold grade Great Emperor was the titled Great Emperor. Under normal circumstances, even if her physique was special and her cultivation speed was much faster than others, she would still need at least a year to break through to the Great Emperor realm. Yuan wasn't willing to wait. Master, I'm willing to try. The black-clothed old lady certainly knew about the matter between Yuan and Longao. It was precisely because of this that the black-clothed old lady regretted that she didn't separate them. As Yuan said, not everyone could persist for 10 years. She sighed deeply. Don't tell me that you don't have any resentment in your heart for what Longao did? Master, when will we start? If you don't leave or abandon me, I will stay with you in life and death. Yuan didn't want to continue to be entangled in this issue. She still chose to believe in Longao. She believed in the person she loved, no matter where they went, no matter what happened. Since Yuan didn't want to mention more, the black-clothed old lady didn't continue. She had already thought about it. She would never agree to the matter between Yuan and Longao. However, she couldn't be too hasty now. She had to take it step by step. Yuan, have you thought it through? I will ask you one last time. Once you agree to enter that place, it will be a narrow escape. If you make a mistake, you will fall into eternal damnation. Nodding heavily, Yuan said in a firm voice, Master, I have already decided. No matter what kind of danger we encounter, I will deal with it. Looking at the determined disciple in front of her, the black-clothed old lady felt a trace of heartache for the first time. However, she endured it in the end. Since they had already decided, the two didn't continue to say anything. They turned around and quickly left. In a short while, they had already disappeared without a trace. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.